the opener there. Brett Hetty, 5 goals in round 2, 4 of them in the last quarter when it really had to be done, Bruce, and he will be there again for that. Ashley McIntosh has been a centre-half forward the last 2 weeks and has given them some directness into the forward line.
Do you think they'll play McIntosh on Modra or play him up forward?
I would keep McIntosh up forward, run with Brennan at fullback on Modra and go with that. And young Turnbull in the ruck. It'll be a great match between he and Wren.
Well, the scene is set. Crows and West Coast both out there. Nearly a full house here at Football Park. Back with the opening bounce after the break.
Adelaide is captained by Christmas Herbert, the vice captain is Tony McGuinness. Adelaide coached by Graham Force and sponsored by the Toyota dealers. And on the other hand, West Coast Dealers are coached by Michael Lockhart. The central umpires are Timmy Kerry, Mark Nash and Kevin Chambers. The emergency central umpire is Richard Williams. Boundary umpires Randall Shepard, Matthew Starr and Darren Wilson. And the goal umpires John Hutchison and Peter Simons. And don't forget, of course, the ticket sellers in all entrance gates around the ground, selling tickets in the Adelaide Football Club's home race raffle. So spend $1 and $500 to be yours to take home. $10 in the Adelaide Football Club home race raffle and $500 to be yours for the asking. You see the sellers on the entrance gates around here at Football Park. Get your ticket and in half time of the zone we'll announce the winner.
Do it up again.
Beautiful time of the day, almost turning into night here at Football Park. Dennis Committee, welcome once again.
Evening, Bruce.
Should be well, I say a great game. It's 12 versus 1, but it has the potential to be something special.
It does, although the Crows missing a few. Obviously, a couple of key players tonight. I think they're an outside chance, certainly. Mark Bickley, touched on before by Terry, needs to dig it out of the middle. Very good at doing that. Tony Modra, I think, has got to kick 7+ goals tonight if the Crows are to win this. But I don't know the West Coast Eagles know exactly what to expect tonight. I mean, the Crows could go one of two ways tonight: fired up, inspired, or very limp. So we're about to find out.
You're selecting West Coast?
I think so. You've got to on form, don't you?
And Terry?
Yeah, you'd have to go with them. Their side very settled, one, Bruce. I mean, as we mentioned earlier before, 16 of their 1992 premiership side playing here tonight. I mean, that's a very formidable combination that they've got together.
And Neil Curley, down on the boundary, your feelings about the outcome of tonight's match?
Mine, Bruce.
Yours.
Well, I don't think the Crows will start favourite. I certainly am hoping they can win, but I think the West Coast team is far too professional and balanced at this stage.
Get any sort of a feeling from the rooms at all tonight?
Well, the rooms is great. The rooms have been great for the last 7 weeks, but that's where it stayed, unfortunately. And, they're keyed up for it, the Crows, and they realise that this is their absolute last chance to stay in touch with that top 8. I think it's a very slim one, but they still hold a bit of a chance. But when you look through the West Coast side, they've made very few changes over the last 6-7 weeks. Their defence is just so strong and well balanced. Their midfield is very good, and they've got power up in the forward line with their flanking movement. So they're going to be very hard to beat.
Who will run with Matera, do you think?
Hart.
Ben Hart.
Ben Hart.
Oh, you seem pretty definite on that. And will Nigel Smart play up forward or up the back?
He'll start in the half-forward flank.
Fair enough. OK, thanks, Neil.
Okay, Bruce.
Great insight.
Yes, so Smart at half-forward. Pesh, a newcomer for Adelaide, first game. Ross has only played a couple this year after debuting in 1992. Peter Kerry, Mark Nash, Kevin Chambers, the umpires. Not quite a full house. Good night for footy. They have had some terrific clashes between the two teams.
It's like a state game, isn't it? De facto state game, this one for the supporters of both states.
And they were always big games, South Australia and Western Australia, whether they be played at the Adelaide Oval or here at Football Park or at Subi.
Quite right. And this is a much better nick than Subi, we've got to say. This time last week, I think our viewers in Melbourne watching the game from Subiaco Oval, what a disgrace that was.
A lot of talk about that in Melbourne during the week. So Brennan for Modra. It's the way you thought it would go, Terry.
Yeah, I think that's a very good move. That allows McIntosh to settle in the forward line and allow him to run into some good form.
So the start of the game at Football Park. Crows kick to the right of screen. Start big underdogs here. Turnbull got his hand on a Banfield, punched it back towards Djakovic. Djakovic tries to get away from Wiedemann. Good tackle by Wiedemann. Smart's handball. Rashudo just was pretty hot free kick going to Rashudo at centre wing. Second season player, outstanding prospect. It's probably been a shining light in a disappointing team this year. Goes towards full forward. Modra from the side. Oh, good grab by Ross. He's hurt his knee. Ooh. Oh, shocking luck for the Crows in the first 30 seconds of the game. Kick away by Mainwaring. Goes back to Rashudo. Back to full forward. Ingerson, good take. Excellent mark, but all the tragedy of Ross to the side. And now in the foreground.
Some irony there. He hurt his knee initially against the West Coast Eagles.
That's a terrible blow at this stage of the game, isn't it? They were looking to stretch the Eagles there with the bigger man in the forward pocket alongside Modra, and now that's been lost.
Kluzek getting ready to go on, so we really feel for Ross. The stretch has come out. He's only played a couple of games this year. Has had injury problems. And you'd say he'd be taking no further part in this match today. We've already had one terrible injury at the MCG today. Heard that James Heard, the outstanding young forward for Essendon, has a suspected punctured lung and broken ribs. And Jonathan Ross, the 20-year-old, being carried from the arena. There's just a hush here at the moment, isn't there? People can't believe that Ross could be so unfortunate. As we take another look.
Bruce, is just the way he comes down. I can't see too much contact there from Tony Modra. It's just the way he came down and jarred the knee there, and it's as you said, it's one that already has been injured by the look of it there with the heavy strapping that he has on it. That's a terrible blow.
Hasn't played for the Crows since round 9. There's a game on this ground against Hawthorn. The two matches he's played this year were against Essendon at the Optus Oval in round 8 and against Hawthorn. So in 2 matches this season, unfortunately not in a winning team for the Crows, and now being stretchered off the ground. So Jonathan Ross down and seemingly out of, excuse those words, and Matthew Kluzek coming out. So as we go back to Ingerson, who's taken a good grab. He kicked 3 goals in the third quarter against Carlton last week. He kicked very poorly in the first half. Looked very promising a couple of years ago. hasn't quite been able to make his mark. But this is a must goal in the circumstances. Has to kick a goal with Ross being taken off. Lines up, and the Crows are off to a start with a goal, but losing a forward in the first minute. Bittersweet, the first minute of the game for the Crows.
Yes, it is. The unfortunate injury aside, that was a very important goal to the Crows. Ingerson is a player who has come back into the side after playing only one game in the 1993 season, and he's a very important player. He's one who can take some goal-scoring power and pressure away from Modra.
A long minute gone, back in the middle. Turnbull goes up and gets it down. Banfield knocks it back, taken by McGuinness. Schwert. This is Hart alongside the centre circle, kicks it down towards half-forward. Jakovic up in front. That will be an interesting duel. Smart knocked it away. Brown dragged off a kick. Jakovic sockers it forward, gained about 15 metres, goes again, and sockers again out wide towards the boundary. Judged it pretty well. It skids out of bounds. Boundary throw in right half-forward. Bench for the West Coast Eagles. Turley, Waterman, and in the foreground Evans. And there's the forecast. Expected low 4 degrees. Light the fires. Schwert. Adelaide looking to start in that sort of fashion. Bit of fire. Kemp's getting a free kick at half back. Down towards the wing goes the kick. Wilson should mark this. Well, over his head. Jamison comes back. Spinks stood up in the tackle. McIntosh couldn't control it. Out of bounds on the wing.
Bickley playing across half back by the look of it on Wilson. 11-4 on West Coast. 7-4 Adelaide. Had the match been at Subi, it would have been about 8-1 on and 5-1 against. Such a difference in where you're playing. Bickley had it smothered brilliantly by Mainwaring. Hart tries a back turn, caught. Had a long time to get rid of it. On the up, Wiedemann, McDermott, Jamison, who's got the job on McIntosh, sweeps a handball to Bickley. Promising signs early to half forward. Ingerson, Brown, inside scoring distance, should kick a goal. Goes long, misses, scores a behind. 1-1. Brown starting tonight. I think he's forced to start him, Graham Corns, with so many injuries, with no Jarman and no Maynard and no Tregenza.
And as a specialist, he should have really nailed that goal. That was a perfect opportunity for him.
Brennan to Worsfold. Worsfold out wide. McIntosh. Still with McIntosh. Jamison tries to worry him out. Wiedemann very close to the boundary line. Still Wiedemann. Handball. Wren. Handball back now to Pike. Pike round the body. Only as far as Bickley. Such an important player, as tennis committee said earlier. Not playing in the centre square tonight. Kick towards half forward. Smart. Another one who's been, well, Bickley hasn't been out of form. He's been injured, but Smart out of form. Goes to Modra. Good effort by Brennan. Brown under pressure, high ball, back, Spinks takes the mark. Just wonder, as we go to Hart, Neil Curley, do you think it's going to make much difference with Ross coming off to the Adelaide set-up up forward?
Yes, well, they've planned, all week they've planned around Ross at centre half forward, and Smart being the moving player. Now, of course, Smart has to go into the centre half forward, key position, so yes, it has upset their plans.
Boundary throw in. Crows lead by 7 points. Early going at Football Park on a very pretty night. McGuinness couldn't control it. Sockers off the ground cleverly inside the 50. And it goes out of bounds. Back in round 2. The West Coast Eagles came from behind that day. They trailed at three-quarter time and fought back strongly. Ball out of bounds will be thrown in. How about that? Stephen Schwert was drafted by the West Coast Eagles a few seasons back. A couple of shiners there and a broken nose to go with it. Ingerson decisively hooks it behind the pack. Jakovic rather tentative. McGuinness now 40 metres out, pulls it back. Gift goal. Right.
Gee, that'll lift him, Terry. In fact, interestingly, McGuinness didn't go for the sort of the reflex kick. He waited, propped, and then went back onto his left foot again. Instinctively, it wasn't working for him, but he's got a goal out of it. Look at that.
Yeah, it was surprising the way he hesitated there. I mean, the natural flow for the left footer was to keep going, but a great piece of ruck work there from Ingerson, able to find the space over the back.
The stadium's been rather quiet for Football Park early, but starting to voice now. Bickley out of the centre. McGuinness has kicked a goal. Ingerson's kicked a goal. The Crows are 13 points in front. West Coast has started sluggishly. That was Worsfold to Wilson. Wilson round his body, just blazed away. Bouncing ball at half forward. Whirlman, who looks so much like Hart when he's on the move. That's a poor kick. Did have time to steady up and has given the footy away. It'll go to Wilson at 50 metres. Or further out than that, I should say. He's at 70 metres. Centering kick, high ball to full forward. Whirlman and Wren were there. Sumic, in fact, was trying to rove. Tries to barge his way through McKinnon. Gave him a real hip and shoulder. And McKinnon got one last week from Spalding and picks himself up. Sumic, who's been struggling with injury and out of form. Not the leading goal kicker so far this season. He's won that for the last 5. Turnbull knocks it on. McIntosh knocks it forward. Lee was caught under it. Heady in the pocket. Just got away from him a little. Kicked back towards the forward pocket. McDermott went without it. Pike, they both went to ground. And over the top was McIntosh. And McDermott threw himself on the Adelaide Crows player. And it's going to be a bounce up. Neil Curley, Jonathan Ross.
Yeah, it's not good. The club doctor said it's definitely his left knee, which had the brace attached to it. Certainly won't take any further part in this match and could be doubtful for the rest of the season.
Bickley smothered, Turnbull over the top to Pike. That's a good effort from there. Very close. Oh. It's a goal. Don Pike from out of nowhere.
And it was from out of nowhere in heavy congestion there. Pike, who perhaps we would have thought would have taken Tony McGuinness, but Drew Banfield has got the job on McGuinness. Great smother from Heady, and that's the strength of the Eagles forward line, is that they will always work to hold it in. So Brett Heady, great smother, allowing the goal to be kicked by Don Pike.
First goal of the match to Pike for West Coast. He shared the best and fairest with Jakovic last season. Turnbull out of the centre, infringement there, so Adelaide wouldn't want to concede that good start in a hurry. Turnbull goes to Sumic at half forward, used his body against Whirlman, then round the corner in towards the centre square. Well done by McKinnon, but Heady roved it beautifully. Usually kicks these, he has, and West Coast is back to square one. Well, that's an ominous sign, isn't it?
Those last 2 goals have been got relatively easily, and you're right, that is not a good sign. The ability of the Eagles there to clear the ball so quickly out of the centre bounce. Sumic, good to see him back into the side. They need him as a focal point there, but Heady is the ultimate opportunist, and on the right foot really put that one home.
Crows by a point, back in the middle. This is Schwert, nicely done, away to Bickley. He boots it down towards half forward. Unkind bounce for Brown, and in turn McKenna. Rashudo goes off the deck, down towards the pocket. Modra leads in the race, deep in the pocket. Brennan overran the ball, picked up by Ball, who boots it back towards half back. Wiedemann on the wing, feeds it across to Rashudo. Rashudo kicks inside the 50. Jakovic got a fist on it. Banfield claimed immediately. On his knees, the hand pass came out from Kluzek, and the shot from Smart misses to the right-hand side. Smart has started well, Terry.
He certainly has, a key player in it, and probably 2 of the more important matchups are across the wings, where we have Ben Hart on Matera and Stephen Schwert on Mainwaring.
Guy McKenna in some doubt coming into this game. Never rushed in this situation, McKenna. Short to the pocket. Pike. Don Pike up towards half-back. Kicks to the middle now. Spinks is the target. Wren goes back. Almost a clever mark running with the ball. Socket off the ground by Mainwaring. And the umpire obviously thought about that. A bit like McKenna. Didn't rush into it, but said it was kicking in danger.
And from the Crows' point of view, like McKenna made the right choice. Wren. Modra on the lead at centre half forward. Went very early. Brendan with him. Ingerson missed it. Chance for David Hart. Handball was very good to Worsfold. Worsfold squeezes it to Kemp. Kemp at centre wing. Goes up to half forward. Looking for Wilson. With him McKinnon. Good mark. Wilson diving attempt. Bickley looks as if he's come off Wilson now. Probably look to centre. High ball. Sumic will be in the picture here. Wren. Wellman just got rid of Sumich. Wren gets back, was going to play on with a handball. Now sweeps it out to McDermott at centre half back. McDermott controls the foot. McKenna and also Kluzek. Lewis mops up to Jakovic. Jakovic out wide, looks for Heady. Heady often plays well against the Crows. His handball under pressure finds the boundary line. Dennis, when you look through this West Coast team, they've got 7 players who in the last 6 years, with the joint award last year, have won the best and fairest, still playing at the club and still at their peak. Not a bad lineup, is it?
Very impressive, isn't it? Makes the coach feel good. As this ball landed, I think, on the line. Brought up the chalk. So boundary throw it in the pocket. Chris Mainwaring hasn't won a best and fairest, but would be in contention this season, although Jakovic would be the leader at the present time. Wren decisively, beautifully, down to Jamison, boots it back towards the wing. Awkward bounce for Lewis, taken by McKenna. Look out, McKenna decides to centre the ball. Up goes Sumich, knocked away by Wellman. Matera trapped it. Wellman had it socket away. McIntosh back to goal, 60 metres out now. Goes to the pocket. It pitches in no man's land. Matera gets back, hard against the boundary line, right across the face of goal. Bickley kept it in. He's got plenty of support. They'll run it out. This is McGuinness. Up towards half-back, comes to the wing. Terrible effort. And McKenna takes the mark. Well, most unlike McGuinness, that disposal.
Dennis, it's what Neil was talking about before, with Pittman was going to be the key man at centre half forward, with Nigel Smart working around him. McGuinness had no one coming up from centre half forward then.
Pike neatly to half forward. McIntosh. Hart has got the job on Matera. Stops, props. McIntosh didn't forfeit. Hart gets it to McDermott. It was a dangerous kick. McDermott able to take it at centre half back. One of 3 Crows who's 30 years or older goes to a youngster in Hart who turned 20 a week ago. Again, Adelaide giving the footy up. McKenna on the end of it. Looking for 50. Fantastic player. Class act across half back. What a lineup they have there with Worsfold, Jakovic and McKenna. Here's Pike. Again short to McKenna. G. Kluzek, who was on McKenna early when he came on for Ross. Now McKenna about 80 metres from goal. That's a wobbly one. Lee bounced away from him. Wellman sort of got in his road a bit. Jamison under extreme pressure concedes ground and hopes it'll run out. It does in the left forward pocket. West Coast trailing by 2 points.
Just can't see them running it through up to half forward line just at the moment. They're lacking. Guy McKenna is really controlling across the half back line.
Well done again by Wren. Got it down to Jamison. Wren decides to go himself. Bickley cleverly. McGuinness against the boundary line. Great pressure by the forwards. Wilson on the smother. Ball out of bounds.
Dennis Young, Clues who come on is now headed right out towards the boundary line, trying to drag McKenna out of the play.
Watch Wren, a master young ruckman. Worked Turnbull under the ball that time. Again had the ball in his control. McGuinness going nowhere. Bickley at close quarters. Hart's kick is a shocker. In fact, was it McKinnon down there or Hart that hit the ball? McKinnon floated it out of bounds on the full. He kicks it with the left, but under a fair degree of pressure there. Kemp's got it now. Sends it back in. In front, Spinks. Everybody tried to mark. It falls to Lee. So good last week in a losing cause to McDermott. And Jamison runs it up. Bouncing with authority. Goes in short. Rashudo on the lead. Spilt the mark. Coming through strongly, McDermott. Jamison too slow. Back towards McDermott. Worsfold's in there as well. And a quick whistle.
Crows were going nowhere under that pressure. Matera in very, very quickly. The Crows have had the jump in the centre bounce, but in the overall context, the Eagles seem to have control just at the moment.
Crows leading on the scoreboard by 2 points after kicking the first 2 goals in the game. Pike, who's been good early. High ball up inside 50. Heady. Good mark. I think he was played a free kick anyway against Lee. Kicked 29 goals this season, Heady. He's been in and out a bit. He's had some great games and some very poor games from his own high standard. That can be very damaging. Goal kicking forward, pocket half forward. One of 16 players out there tonight who played in that premiership team a couple of years ago. Normally a great kick for goal. He'll kick from 49 metres. not going to score a goal. Hits the post. So 1-1 to Heady. Was just drifting away at the end. And the Eagles get within a point. They're 2-1. The Crows are 2-2.
Brett Heady kicked 5 goals the last time and the first time these two sides met. The Eagles leading goal scorer with 29 to the moment. There's the ball, untouched, close to the boundary line. McKinnon under pressure, threw it on the boot. It bounces down towards the wing. Again, the halfbacks playing in front. McKinnon got it to Kemp, back to Pike. Pike on the wing, kicks it towards half forward. Wren from behind, he is terrific. And when you consider the quality of the opposition there, even more memorable that mark. Gets the hand pass to Hart, who goes long down towards half forward. Loose ball behind the pack. Jakovic lays it off. Hart again. Goes towards half forward. Spings hard at the ball. Big collision out there. I think the Crows will get a free. The Crow is down on the outer side. And the free kick will be taken by Kluzak. He was the man in front. Spinks on a lead. Crashed into his back. Kluzak, the defensive side of the wing then. Goes down towards half forward. Rashudo goes up, knocked away by Worsfold. McGuinness spins out of trouble. Brilliantly done. 80 metres from goal. Spears the pass in. Modra missed it. Ball behind. Gets it across to Mainwaring. And now Brennan, with some time, goes for distance. A spiral around the outer side. Wren, with great courage, went back. Wilson dragged off the kick. Wren's got it now. He's playing well early. Jamison gets it to McDermott.
McDermott to centre half forward. Good grab by Rashudo. It was a difficult one. Now he's a very good kick, Rashudo. If Modra's got the confidence to lead, he'll kick it to him. Half-hearted Modra. He might go to Ingerson low. Ingerson tried a fingertip it. Still Modra playing behind Brennan. Refused to present himself there, and Mainwaring kicks it to centre wing. This will be a great duel, won't it? Hart and Matera.
Very good mark there. I mean, two very good footballers here together. It'll be a great one to watch.
Matera just defensive side of centre wing. A goal-kicking wingman. One of the greats in AFL as he kicks short to Turnbull. Wren very good, as Dennis said in the early part of this match. McIntosh really braced himself and set himself. Pike under pressure. McDermott with him, but Pike good enough to hold it up. It's a good mark, this one, Terry, by Matera.
Oh, it is. He takes the front position, is strong enough to hold it. I mean, young Ben Hart is a physically strong boy, but very good work from Matera.
Excellent feel there by Matera. Wren just lays it down. Banfield was in the thick of it. Turnbull breaks clear in the end, gets a quick kick away and gets to Heady. It was persistence by Turnbull, made something out of very little, and Heady then goes wide. West Coast players, McIntosh in the box seat, free kick against Bickley. No, not paid. McIntosh stiff there. Under pressure, return ball caught. Wilson tries to break the Wren tackle. Adelaide able to hold it up. They might get away with this. McKinnon gets it back from Lee. Over the top, McGuinness getting some touches early. Sweeps it out wide. Hart runs across from half-back. Important ball here. Wasted it a little. Smart presented himself early. It went over the top. Now Brown arcs around. Left foot back in the direction of Modra. Out wide and the ball out of play at 50. Break there for the Crows at half-back. Able to relay it back to half-forward.
A very tough time for Graham Corns at the moment. If he can weather the storm for the remainder of this quarter, they've probably got a very good start.
McKenna fumbled initially. Now to Hart from half-back. Looks towards the wing. Guess who? Wren. It wasn't Bickley, inspirational just a few moments ago across half-back. Marvellous for the Crows. Fearless customer. Pittman fingertips to it. Jakovic parties up again. Took a while, but releases the ball out wide. Lewis in space on the wing now. Chris Lewis strolls away. Kicks down towards half-forward. Searching lead from Wilson. Good lead, good kick. Peter Wilson, valuable player. Short. Sumich down low. So Peter Sumich, back last week, goalless. Will kick from just inside the 50.
Yeah, that's a good take. And in actual fact, I thought Tony Modra perhaps should have attacked the ball the same way, just at the other end of the ground, only some seconds ago.
Injured in round 6 against North Melbourne. He'd kicked 23 goals till then, only one since. But thought a few years back, well, 2 years back to be precise, Sumich and Modra on the same ground in this sort of form. both really struggling. Peter Sumich bends it back beautifully, straight through.
That's a perfect kick from Peter Sumich, and it'll do his confidence the world of good. The attack at the ball, the way he threw his body onto the ground to take the chest mark, shows a man who is prepared to really work at his game. And as the kick in here from Lewis comes, we find Wilson, who has been getting away from Bickley a little bit, but it was a great finish by Peter Sumich, and that will do his confidence the world of good.
West Coast by 5 points. Wren, terrific knock out of the centre. Hart probably should have given the handball away immediately. Schwert, it's 3-1 to 2-2. Jakovic just plays it to the boundary line. Happy to see it run out of play. 4 minutes remaining in this opening term. Goals to Pike and Heady early for West Coast after the Crows had scored the first two through Ingerson and McGuinness. And then Sumich's goal, putting West Coast in front. Schwert. McGuinness couldn't quite. Banfield was there. McGuinness got a little one away. Schwert went to ground. Rasciuto with a bit of courage. Brown on the end of it. Kick that did nothing. McKenna's had an outstanding opening term. Spinks tries a half volley. Pittman. Handball over the top. Wiedemann runs it out of play. Mainwaring putting some pressure on him. And it'll be a throw in between centre wing and right half forward for the Crows. Very good night for football. It's going to get cold. It's around about 9 or 10 at the moment. Expected to get down to 4 or 5. Pike, oh, good balance to Mainwaring. Under some pressure, gets a kick away in the direction of Turley. Skiv is good to Lewis, who's been released up the ground to get a couple of touches early. Controls the kick towards Sumich. Bickley running back, ridden into the ground by Heady, and will get a free kick.
They've hurt his ankle. More bad news. 8 possessions for Bickley. Takes it out on McIntosh. Kick goes from Jamison across the ground, and Hart sliding mark right on the boundary. Hart, long kick and a good one too. Wiedemann slipping away, takes this mark at left half back. Nothing much down the ground. He goes for distance. Schwert coming on a lead, going back McKinnon. McKinnon juggles the mark in front of his Central's teammate. Just forward at the wing, chips towards the 50. McGuinness, Banfield bearing down. McGuinness marks a well-weighted kick just inside the line. McGuinness got the second goal of the game. Too far out to score. Goes long. Modra, well played there by Brennan. He'll get the free kick. And that was the way to play Tony Modra when he's taking a run. Stay off a couple of paces, Brennan, from where you think the ball will pitch. Modra then up very early and completely wrong-footed, giving away the free. Very experienced defender, this man. Ball's got it in the back pocket in front of Ingerson. Wants to go and does. High kick towards half-back. Wren again. Well, he's a marvellous young player.
Well, he's been marvellous tonight again, hasn't he? You reckon West Coast would be a couple more in front already without Wren's defensive work tonight. Good kick too, towards the goal square. Modra sets himself. Brennan, excellent effort. Brown on his wrong side. Centering kick, a good one. Kluzek versus Mainwaring. Mainwaring forces it out of bounds in the left forward pocket for the Crows. It's been I guess feature's not the right word, Dennis, but Modra going early has been a pattern in the last 5 or 6 weeks. Rasciuto. Kluzek smothered by Banfield was good football. Ingerson just tapped it forward. Jakovic went to ground. Oh, played it brilliantly. Unfortunately, hit ball in the centre of the back, and Schwert's got a chance to kick a goal. He's missed. It's a behind. 2-3, 3-1. Yes, Modra going very early with a lot of leaps and giving away a number of free kicks.
Yes, all to do with confidence, I guess, but that time gives some of the due, I think, to Brennan. He played him very well, Terry.
Yes, Dennis, and I think you call a very experienced player, and the most experienced player in the Eagles lineup. I think that's the way you need to play Tony Modra, with experience and with your head.
Brennan to Worsfold around the outer side. He loves running into Crows. He kicks it down towards the wing. Taken down there by McIntosh. The Eagles looking pretty slippery at the present time. Wilson's got the ball down towards right half forward. Where's Sumich on a lead? Wilson balks. Sumich drops back. Pike's got it now in midfield. Right in the middle, Don Pike. Heady comes on a lead this time in his mark. Well, the matchup's down there, causing the Crows a few headaches now. Heady directly in front.
It's very aggressive leading, isn't it? The gap was there for him to really come hard at it, and did so. They're not hesitating, any of the Eagles forwards, to lead hard and strong.
And the discipline was good because Sumich made the initial lead and then cleared out immediately. Didn't hang around, got back, so the hole was still there, and Heady came with his second wave. Heady goes from 35 metres out. He may have snuck it through. He has. 2 goals to Heady.
Well, we called there a period ago that we were looking for that the Crows did have the game a little bit in control with 2 goals apiece, but now the Eagles have been able to break away. The matchups, as Dennis is calling, the Eagles forward line are not favouring the Crows at the moment, and perhaps a little bit of reshuffling will be needed to be done to pick up those key players.
4-1-2-3. Eagles have kicked the last 4 goals in the match. Lewis cleverly out of the centre, gets a kick out wide. Jamieson now on Heady, and Lee's gone on to Turley. Change there, free kick surely for Lee as the siren sounds at quarter time. A good effort by West Coast. Gave Adelaide a start and have picked them up and have taken the lead. It's 2-3 Adelaide, 4-1 West Coast. Ingerson and McGuinness, the goal scorers for the Crows in the opening term, and for West Coast, Heady's got a couple, Pike and Sumich. At quarter time, West Coast lead by 10 points. It's 4-1 to 2-3. Neil Curley, they looked pretty good, didn't they, after a sluggish start, West Coast?
That's correct, Bruce. The Crows got off to a very good start. Very unfortunate to lose, Ross, because their whole planning the last few days has been around that special movement they had worked out there. Well, that's gone. But there's no difference between the aggression, the toughness, and the running at the ball out here. Both sides are very pumped up. They're attacking the ball very hard. But the big difference is the Eagles' coolness under pressure. They have a lot more directors out there around the ground. A lot the viewers can't see on the actual TV set is that the West Coast players away from the ball, they're directing, they're organising, they're talking, and their backing up is superb. And the big difference, of course, also when they get the footy, they are very cool under pressure. They wait. They are very patient with their delivery. They don't rush it. They wait for movement. And no two Eagles run to the same position. One runs, one gives an option. Another player seeks another position and gives an option. And they have a lot of players to use. And they move late to allow the player with the ball the opportunity to see them and then deliver the ball to them.
It all adds up to something pretty special, doesn't it? Thanks for that, Neil. 4-1 to 2-3. Graham Corns with plenty of problems. Jonathan Ross injured in the first minute of the match. Looked really nasty going for Mark in the pocket with Tony Modra. Terry, it was just the start the Crows couldn't afford.
That's right, Bruce. If Graham has spent the time in coaching, you always do. You put a lot of planning into each particular game, and you always look for one thing that's going to give a spark to the side. And if that was where he put all his time this week and he lost it within 2 minutes of play, that's extremely a tough blow that has been dealt to the Crows.
McDermott on Wilson, Bickley into the centre square. So change there. McDermott was running with Pike in the first term. Crows trailing by 10 points. It's 4-1 to 2-3. Big crowd. They're still not giving them the real Crows roar. I think that a lack of confidence not only on the field but off it in Adelaide at the moment. Bickley had an airy. Schwert's little kick didn't go far. Got back to McKinnon. High ball to centre half forward. Djakovic and Smart set themselves. Djakovic punches it away towards half back, hard onto it, having a brilliant season. Off the back pocket, kicks to centre wing, looking for Wilson. Bouncing ball, running out of play and out. McDermott running it over. Struggled a bit, the captain, in the last few weeks, McDermott. Best and fairest of the club. Alongside McGuinness, they've shared it. The two 30-year-olds in the last 2 years. The captain and vice-captain, Wren to Wiedemann. Wiedemann goes back. McDermott's kicked back into the centre square. Missed by McKenna. Tried to lay it off there. Was it Smart? Main Waring getting into the action along with Rashuto.
It's a very tight and tough defence, the Eagles, one in which the Crows have to try and penetrate. It's a big task they have.
Rucks go at it. Turnbull hooks it down behind. Pike through midfield, taken by Turley. Took the second option. Well played by Hart to knock it away from Mainwaring. Sock it off the ground by Pike. Matera threads the needle superbly. Turley goes over the top. This is Wilson in full stride. Runs inside the 50. Getting back is Wellman. He saves the day. Chip pass to the pocket. Full stretch McDermott. His 8th possession out of the back pocket around the outer side. Well directed, taken by Pittman. He's at right half back. Bickley cruises past. Pittman decides to kick towards midfield, and why not? Good lead from Rashuto. He's got the ball out towards the wing. Mark Rashuto. Outstanding youngster. Fine kick. Smart's got the ball right half forward. The Crows looking better. Smart, the distance. Not a particularly good kick. Held by the arm. He's marked it anyway. Something special from Tony Modra. I think finally had to mark with one arm. He'll kick from about 15 metres out. He booted 7 against the Eagles in Game 3 of the Foster's Cup back in March on this ground. There goes the kick. It's true. His first of the night.
And one that was very much needed by the Crows. The very good part in that build-up was Mark Rashuto on the lead through the centre of the ground. We just missed his mark there, but at half forward he can be a key marking option. He's not all that tall, but he can be a key marking option against John Morsfold. And if the Crows can utilise him a little bit more, I think moves like this into the forward line could produce more often. This is very good bodywork from Modra, and finished it off well.
Well, that'll give the Crows some heart. Rashuto to Smart to Modra. 3 of the most important players in the lineup. Such a good kick, Rashuto. 3-3 to 4-1. Wren's been magnificent. You'd say that if they're polling Brownlow votes right now, he'd get the 3. What's happened to Smart there? Has he injured himself? Looks in trouble. McKenna to Hart. Hart from centre-half back. Swings it out wide. Turley held on to by Lee, who's been out of sorts tonight. Had a terrific game last week, was reported. Got off, but has had his colours lowered early tonight by Heady. And now on Turley.
Nigel Smart looks okay back there, Bruce.
Matera. Good mark by Sumic. It was a confident lead and a real stretch and a great mark.
Well, I don't think he's right. I'm not sure that he thinks he's right either, Terry. It's touch and go, I think. The trainer's going back. He's walking a bit gingerly, isn't he? I think he's putting on a brave face, Smart, but I wouldn't be surprised if he comes off. What's that signal there, Terry? That wave of the arm. You're the coach from the trainer. What's it telling us?
His hamstring looks very tight, doesn't it? As Sumic, speaking of hamstrings, being tight, wouldn't he love to get through the rest of the season without giving it another twinge? Good kick by Sumic. He's got his second. 2 to Sumic. West Coast 5-1 to 3-3.
And this is a very big night for Peter Sumic, I think, on the return. Conditions last week at Subiaco against Essendon in the wet certainly didn't suit him and were not good conditions for a return game from a hamstring injury. Here tonight, he's got every opportunity. He's leading well. His 2 kicks at goal have been very, very good ones. In the build-up to the final series, he will be a key player.
Eagles by 10 points. Out of the middle comes McGuinness down towards half forward. Smart's not running across the ground. He stayed stationary and now he's hobbling off. Meantime, McKenna's got it. No one went to him. Floats one back towards the middle. Up in front when he's playing the game of his life tonight. He's played some very good ones. He gives it to Hart down towards full forward. Modra. Up he went. Loose ball behind. Who's got the best recovery? Hart has. That's Hart of the Eagles. He comes away and kicks out wide. Liptak just on the ground. Dream start. Takes the mark. Must get 50. Must get 50.
Oh, umpire.
I think Turley thought the ball was touched. The umpire paid the mark though, so if it wasn't touched, it had to be 50. Jakovic. Terry?
I couldn't work that one. You're right, Dennis. It must have been touched there to allow Turley even the thought that he could do that sort of an action to the player.
Amazing. Nigel Smart in the dugout. Meantime, Turley. Grandstand wing. Matera brilliantly off hands. Goes for distance down towards the 50. It pitches in no man's land. Foot race. First to arrive McKinnon. Does pretty well initially to gather the ball, but the kick's a wayward one. And it floats out of bounds, and Matera will bring it back in. Let's go down to Neil.
Yes, Nigel Smart no good. Hamstring's gone. Won't take any further part in the match.
Gee, Ross and Smart both gone.
Sumic has got the ball. Matera, 7 possessions now. Peter Matera averages 26 in the last 3 meetings against Adelaide. He's caused them a lot of problems. And Sumic is going at his 3rd goal here. And not beyond the realms of possibility, as we say. This is about position A-. Here he goes, Sumic. The adventure is on. It's bending back. Has it got the carry? Not quite. And behind. And the Eagles stretch their lead. Just over 14 minutes to go till half-time.
The Crows are very much stretched now in their forward line. Anthony Ingerson out to centre-half forward and Tony Modra at full forward are the only talls of any shape or form that they've got down there. So it really has to be a possession and running game now by the Crows.
And that's what McDermott did to Schwert, who brings it wide looking for Bickley. And a throw-in on centre wing. Well, you said Modra would have to kick 7, I think it was, Dennis, before the match started. He's probably going to have to kick 9 now for the Crows to have a realistic chance. Something extraordinary has to happen up forward for them, for 1 or 2 players. Wiedemann caught by Lewis, good tackle. It just looks so undermanned when you look around the ground now.
Yep, very much so.
West Coast at its strongest with maybe Mitchell White to come back in. And you might make an argument for one other player, and the Crows with 7 or 8 players sitting on the bench and 5 or 6 totally out of form. McDermott held up very well. Turley was over the top of it again with Wilson.
Bruce should be struggling to identify which Eagles you took out of the side to bring those other boys in.
Well, Evans, without a sweat, and such an important player in that 1992 premiership, just sitting there now.
Played very well late last week as Wren goes up and thumps it forward. Pike hits it back. Wren hasn't got it. He'll get the free kick. Big Sean Wren. Well, he's doing it all. He gives it across to McDermott. He swings it out wide. Set Pittman a task. Rashudo up against the flow. Untidy hand pass. Made to look okay there by McGuinness, who raked it in. Hooks it back inside the 50. Jakovic in front. Ingerson from behind. Liptak gave it away. This is Hunt, who's been very good. Back to Waterman. Kept his head nicely. Jakovic close to the boundary line. Goes with the left foot. High kick. Oh, Wren goes back and takes the mark. Well, this is something special. They're fighting for their life. They're out of players, and Wren is really setting the tone. Pittman is up. Can they follow his lead? Kluzak across the body. Bacon, goal, square goal. Sean Wren initiated another forward thrust. 4-3-5-2. Eagles lead.
It's been a magnificent period by Sean Wren, Dennis, as you've called here, and his work in the air has been exceptional. Such a high reach that he has, and he will always use it to his advantage. Pittman now going down into the forward line. He's at least there to give them a contest, and that's what they'll need if they are to survive with this smaller forward line. Good work down there.
4-3-5-2. Crows hanging in. Wren outstanding. Got the thump. Down to Wiedemann, couldn't break the tackle, and it'll be a bounce in the centre square. The Weed just shrugs his head. He's really struggled this year to maintain a permanent place in the team. Came in with the late withdrawals that happened after Thursday. Hart went without it. Turley ran into a West Coast teammate, went to ground, back to Kemp. Hard ball to take at the moment, held up by Hart. He's nullified pretty well on Matera. 6 kicks Matera. It's been good but not great. If you can keep Matera to something average, you'll be pretty happy at the end of the day. Free kick to Wren. Well, that time makes a mistake. Maybe McGuinness shouldn't have called for it in that position. Lewis at half forward. Goes in short to Heady. Well done by Wellman at the back. Good take under pressure though by Turley. Defensive play by Wellman. Lewis and Lee throw in at half forward.
That was very good play from young Wellman. Certainly never ever looked like giving that up. Was able to get the fist in onto the marking contest and keep the ball going his way.
Wren in the centre, runs into trouble. Wilson trying to rip it away, and they're going to go again, the ruckman. Crows are trailing by 5 points in a match where if they don't win, they could give up any realistic chance of making the 8. They've still got a hope if they win here. They've got Sydney at Football Park on Friday. 2 wins in 5 days would do a lot for this club. Free kick to McDermott.
Great shepherding earlier by Wren. One wonders, though, how long he can keep going. Here's Pittman. Left half back. Goes towards the wing. In front, Rashudo. McGuinness swoops on the loose ball. 75 metres from goal. Pops it directly out of bounds. Most unlike him.
Said that twice tonight, Dennis.
So tell us, Bruce. He's not the player you've come to expect. Struggling for confidence as much as anything else. Well, Wren again.
Tremendous.
This is remarkable. Sean Wren is taking on the West Coast Eagles, the top team in the land, by himself.
Dennis, it's got to inspire some of his teammates up. I mean, they're only 5 points down. They've worked very hard, and here's another chance.
Ingerson's got it. 13 possessions so far for Wren. He's returning a Rovers figures early or midway through the second term. Here's Ingerson. This for the lead. Not the best of kicks. Hoists it very high. They'll contest about 5 metres out. Modra in front, close to the boundary line. Then across by Waterman and Liptak. Bit of contact as Modra was in the air there. The crowd calling for a free. Wasn't on. Boundary throw in, right full forward.
It's a good sign though that he got to the front there and gave himself a chance. Ingerson, West Coast, work it out of play again. Well, spirits are high here, aren't they? There's no doubt about that.
No, they're really now taking hold of the task and they're giving themselves a real opportunity now.
Rashuto forced to do the ruck work with Jakovic. Brown just couldn't take it cleanly. Rashuto's handball good. Kluzek round the body. Is that his second goal? Gave it a hook in the end. And it's a behind. 1-1 to Matthew Kluzek, who kicked a great goal late in the game against Richmond to keep Adelaide in, and gave a handball off to Liptak in that frantic last 5 minutes. It's 4-4 to 5-2. McKenna.
Jakovic comes off the ground. He ran off, replaced by Turnbull. That's interesting. Here's Mainwaring meantime. High one towards the wing. McIntosh comes on a lead. That's a very good grab. Ashley McIntosh. No advantage there. Umpire paid the mark, so McIntosh has the ball. The defensive side of the wing goes down towards half forward. The leading is very good. Ball this time, close to the line. Jason Ball. A young, tall player, schooled by John Todd. Enormous potential. Centres. Mainwaring goes up. Juggled attempt at the mark. Couldn't hang on. Downwind McDermott. The clever hand pass away. McGuinness with the right foot towards half forward. Rashuto goes up in front. That's a strong grab. Rashuto alongside the centre circle. And the Crows are lifting. Penetrating kick. Modra interfered with. Modra will get the free. Now the umpire was very much head on to the pair of them. Modra dressed it up a bit, and we were head on as well, so the replay there will tell us more, I think. But Tony Modra's got this one. Will kick from right on the 50. 1 goal so far.
Not that clear cut, I guess, there, Dennis, but at least again putting himself in the front position.
And kicking a goal. Modra's got 2. And the Adelaide Crows are back in front. They got the first 2 goals. The Eagles kicked the next 4. And suddenly the Crows looking far more potent.
This has been a tremendous effort by the Crows. Sean Wren has been the leading light for them, and now the rest of his teammates are starting to stand up. And very strong work. Again, Rashuto leading up, being able to outmark Worsfold and getting it on quickly.
Crows by 2 points, 5-4, 5-2. Modra with 2 goals. Wellman stood up, did very, very well. Got it to Wiedemann. Poor kick. McKenna brilliantly played to Pike. Pike round his body to centre half forward. Wellman the stretch. Turley should finish off with a goal. Goes for it and kicks it. Turley's first. And West Coast back in front at 6-2 to 5-4. Been deadly, haven't they, too, when they've gone forward, West Coast?
That was just too sudden death for the Crows' liking there. I think Guy McKenna again leading the fray with the attack at the ball. Craig Turley being able to finish it off here, and his form last week, it's probably his best game since his return from his little retirement break, and that's a good sign for the Eagles.
So the Eagles back in front. They lead by 4 points. High bounce. Wren has to wait. Superbly done. Got it down to Bickley, who kicks towards half forward. Back goes Hart. A man who virtually retired. Enjoying the best form of his career now. Worsfold comes wide. McIntosh is in front. Great effort by Pittman. The big man stretching every sinew. He's on the wing. Wants to go. Whoops. Well, that's ambitious. He took on Matera, and Pittman won't win many of those. Matera over the top. Turnbull set a task. Still he goes. Well done, like a cork in the ocean. Bounced up. Turley thumps it on inside the 50. Wellman with dash. Heady laid a great tackle. Wiedemann gets it across to support. This is McKinnon. McKinnon's high kick towards the wing. Back goes McKenna. Consummate judgment. Has taken the mark on his chest. Turley wants it short. Kemp even shorter. Matera wants it to the pocket. Kemp goes down towards full forward. Heady comes on the lead. Great courage. McDermott goes back. So McDermott in the back pocket. This will be interesting. Across the goal face, Jamison has it. Schwert is the next piece of the equation, but who's next? That's the intriguing one. Schwert runs up towards half back, kicks towards the middle. Big pack, Rashudo the target. McGuinness stood up in the tackle. Rashudo's got it, comes across the ground. Well, they're tacking down Football Park. Wiedemann inside the 50, almost held by one arm down. There was Pluzak. It falls to Ball. Well played by the defender. And he scuttles it out of bounds as we go down to Neil Curley.
Yes, I think you'll find here that Mick Moldhouse has recognised the threat that Wren presents. He's going to run a ruckman with him all night as a defensive player.
It's a compliment, isn't it? Trying to squash the man who's really kept Adelaide in with some help from Rashudo in particular in this quarter. 6-2-5-4.
Need Stimpy.
38-34. Good out of the centre, the Crows. And that's Wren. That layoff to Bickley a moment ago was a very good illustration. Kemp starting to warm up to centre wing. McIntosh has been held so far. Free kick against Pittman. Over the shoulder. McIntosh not aware that he's got the free kick boundary. Umpire gives it back to him. Looked as if it was there.
Umpires must hate that. Player gets up and he doesn't know it's his kick.
Help me out, they say. Turley goes early. Lee went with him. Mainwaring ducked. Now McDermott tries to break the tackle. Didn't do very well at all. The handball was intercepted. Pike. Chance for Lewis. Should hit him on the chest. Big stretch. Sumich. This could stretch the hamstring at full flight now. Jamison after him. Sumich with some strength. Left foot for goal. Bouncing ball. Comes back to Hart. Cool head required. Must kick it onto an Adelaide Crow's chest. Goes out wide. Does find it. It was a good kick. Got to Jamison. Jamison over the top. Gets to McKinnon. He's been all right, McKinnon. He's kicked 2 out of bounds on the full, but he's had 5 or 6 important touches. G50 against Mainwaring? No. Play on call. McGuinness runs away at centre half back. Booming ball. Ingerson. Well played ball. Looks a terrific player. Rashudo. Why didn't he go onto his right? Now goes to the left. Wiedemann will go for goal from 70 metres. Bouncing ball. It'll bounce through. It was touched by Waterman who got back. And that saved the stand being lifted here. They would have gone mad if the Weed had scored from here. 5-5 to 6-2. Gee, I'm enjoying it, Terry.
He's starting to have an influence now, Wiedemann. It's nine possessions so far, and on that left foot, he's always threatening.
Brennan gets it to Turley. Must be a free kick over the shoulder. Turley will take the kick on the wing. The crowd not happy. Turley's got this one. Great to see him back and firing. Craig Turley goes down towards half forward. Pittman trying to work McIntosh under the ball. Opportunity for Wilson. Well, he was in 2 minds and left the ball behind. Picked up by Kemp. Somehow got out of there. Gives it to Wilson. And Wilson puts it out of bounds on the full. In the right full forward pocket.
And rightfully so. Peter Sumich at the top of the square. Very disappointed with his teammate there.
Kick comes back in from Wellman. Big leap from McKinnon. Fell behind to Lewis, arches the back and gets away. Spears the ball to Wilson right on the 50. Keen to make amends, goes to Sumich on the bounce this time. Sweeping hand pass, sets it up for Kemp. He's got plenty of skill, Kemp. Can't bend it back enough and missed. Behind. The Eagles further in front, but it's only 4 points.
It's a real hang-in job at the moment for the Crows, just hanging on. Have to stay close, you'd think, at half-time. Oh, Turley, good mark on McDermott. There's always going to be a 50-50 ball at best for Adelaide. Turley looking good. 3 goals last week in a low-scoring match. Goes in short. Oh, terrific grab by McIntosh. Bickley did everything right there. Ran across, tried to take him from underneath, and McIntosh hung in the air and took the mark. Such a talent, 21 years of age. Man who can play against the best full forward in the game and against the best full back in the game and still be a threat at either end of the ground. Kicks from 50 and kicks magnificently right to the goals. Good grab by that man again, Wren. He has been wonderful. Has to come back and take his kick. They might carry him off the ground at half-time to try and conserve some energy.
8 marks to this point in the game. This is tremendous football from
But he's umpiring as well. He's doing everything.
His influence has been ubiquitous, hasn't it? I mean, he has cast a very long shadow over this match so far. You'd hate him to make a mistake in a situation like that. Unfortunately, he found McDermott.
Like hit the post.
It's like we're barracking for him at the moment, isn't it? We want him to keep on playing so superbly. McDermott's kicked a half-back. One-hander almost there by Turnbull. And hurled up. And it'll be a bounce. So important here, Dennis, the Crows can hang in at half-time. They're trailing at the moment by 4 points.
Yep.
They can't concede any ground here in the last couple of minutes.
They're showing great heart, Bruce, no question about that. Turnbull, well played again, gathered the ball. Eventually it spills out to Banfield, who hoists it high inside the 50. Wellman reaches over the top, down to McDermott. McDermott needs to kick it and does. Gets it outside the 50. McKinnon away to Wiedemann. Who knows, they could lead at half-time. Kick through the middle, loose ball behind the pack. Who's got the pace? Well, Hart had the pace and the position. Storms away from half-back. Oh, McIntosh, meters in the clear. McIntosh down towards right half-forward. He stepped out of bounds but kept the ball in and kicks it straight to Wren. His positioning is way beyond his years. He reads a football match so well. It was an errant kick, but it had to be centred, and Wren knew that. Anywhere else, it wasn't a good position for the Eagles. He forces them to change their options. Jamison goes around the outer side, clears ball out there. Liptak knocks it on. McKenna cleverly worked him out of position. McKenna playing a blinder, goes over the top to Hart, who's not far behind him. Hart comes down to half-forward, taken by Wilson just over the minute to half-time. Peter Wilson. Here comes Sumich on a searching lead. He squares the ball. Turnbull runs inside the 50. Taken by McIntosh, dragged down by McKinnon. Well done. Turnbull knocks it across towards Lewis. Lewis from about 48 metres out pulls it back. Turley! Almost the mark. Turley hit the ground running. Gets it to Heady. It snaps at his third. And I think he's missed. He hit the post. And from memory, that's his second poster. This game has really lifted.
It's been an incredible period by the Crows to date. If, as we have called here, if they can go in with the scoreline settled on this, it's been a very good period for them.
Good grab, McKinnon. It was an excellent kick. It had to be, in the words of Dennis Cometti, centimetre perfect.
He's been very good today, McKinnon. Been very sound there. You called earlier some of his disposal on the left foot, a little bit wayward, forced out of bounds on the full on a couple of occasions, but has really stuck to the task.
He looks like a player who can do something under pressure, which is important. Like he took that mark, he had to. The kick to Modra, didn't quite get that far. Modra's handball good. Liptak to the goal square. Important mark. Rashudo in the front spot. Kluzek's kicked the goal. Crows are in front. Unbelievable. Surely not. West Coast have been cruising, and the Crows have hit the front with 20 seconds to go to half-time, and Kluzek's kicked his second.
This is a tremendous performance, and now there'll be just so much energy when the players go into the room at half-time. Graham Corns is going to have a tremendous amount of natural energy in there in which to work with. These boys have done a tremendous job and will come out firing after half-time, mark my words.
And Modra being involved in a team sense there, giving off the handball under pressure. Just important things that could add up to something here. Remember that Smart and Ross are off the ground, will take no further part inside the last 15 seconds. Crows crowd lifting them here just before half-time. They've won 9 out of their last 10, West Coast. Adelaide have won 2 out of their last 9. A mismatch on paper, but it's 6-5 to 6-4 as the siren sounds, and they will get a reception here as if they've won the grand final. And it's half-time in round 17. Sean Wren, 9 marks, 6 kicks, 11 handballs. It's been one of the great first-half performances. Well, Terry Wheeler, they're in with a sniff, aren't they?
They are, Bruce. A lot of players now have lifted that little bit extra. We spoke about Mark Rashudo there. They're giving some good work across half-forward. Wiedemann has come into it. McGuinness steady. And they're just saying Modra putting himself in front and giving a contest there.
So at half-time at Footy Park, Adelaide lead West Coast by a point. It's 6-5 to 6-4.
Got nothing now. 3 minutes, right?
fake plate too.
Thank you.
Don, Bruce, mate.
Hello, Bruce. You have to talk up. Hang on. Bruce, just keep talking.
Yeah, Don, Bruce McAvaney, mate.
Yeah, keep going,
I've
Bruce.
got you, Don. You're very faint.
I haven't got Bruce.
I can sort of hear Don a bit, but
Bruce, I can hardly hear you.
Don can hardly hear me either. Okay, mate. They'll work on it, Don.
Okay.
With Stuart Maxfield, yep.
No, not really.
Salmon, yeah, thanks,
just
mate.
faintly. I can hear you a lot better.
Now, Don, are you there, mate?
Bruce, a little bit better.
You're slightly better too, but
Yeah,
not
I
much.
can't. Still a long way away, Bruce.
Now, Don, do you want to throw to the Maxfield interview?
I don't care, Bruce.
Whatever.
Okay. Is it done after the votes?
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't
Okay,
care.
I'll do it, mate. I'm
Righto.
scheduled to do it. It's after the votes. Hey, it's a good game out there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, as good as gold.
Really enjoyed
Who's
it.
winning down there?
Adelaide are a point in front.
Oh, really?
They've lost Smart and Ross injured, and they're really up
Jeez,
against
the
it.
West
but they've
Coast
hung there.
better win.
Well, they were
They'll only get 4 in the tips if that's the
they were
case.
cruising. I'll let them know about that, Donny.
Yeah, thanks.
So come on in after the game, have a look at this exciting facility, the new football park auditorium at Hopville. Sit back and relax in comfort and watch the replay of the Adelaide County Crows versus West Coast Eagle team. And don't forget during the half-time interval, make your way down to the Crows season universe in the outer or front top of the Movement Reserve. Enjoy Canberra Crow. And get hold of one of the great t-shirts. It's designed for the green diamond from
Qantas scoreboard at half-time. Crows lead by a point over West Coast, 6-5 to 6-4. So an excellent second half has been set up here. Earlier today at the Gabba was a terrific match. I saw a lot of this on 7 today when I was in Adelaide. In the end, it was Richmond kicking the last 3 goals of the match. Brisbane got the first 4 goals of the last quarter. That's how exciting that match was. It was 12-12 Brisbane in the end, Richmond 15-8. The Tigers have won 6 in a row. Don Scott's up at the Gabba. Don, they look the real McCoy, don't they, Richmond, at the moment?
Well, they do, Bruce, but I thought it was an excellent game. Up to 3/4, I think the last quarter was a real highlight of the game where Brisbane got in front from behind. They were 21 points down, got in front, then Richmond came back hard. It was just a great game of football. It was also interesting too in that last quarter, the tactics used by the respective coaches. Robert Walls had 3 players down in the full forward line, so there were 6 players across that full forward line. They had, and also had 2 small half-back flankers, so they left the centre half-forward position open, and that worked very, very well early on. And John Northey, on the other hand, employed a tactic where there was nobody except Richardson and Champion in their 50-metre semicircle. So Richardson, with his great speed athleticism, had plenty of room in which to lead, but it was just a terrific last quarter, Bruce.
Yes, well, at one stage we thought Lynch might have to go off, Don. He looked as if he'd injured himself, but Lynch and Richardson were just outstanding, weren't they, in the final term?
Well, that's right. I just marvelled at Lynch's play today. He was just superior. Howard was on him all day, and although he lowered his colours, Howard, he did some good things. Richardson is he's just an exciting player. His athleticism is just tremendous.
What's the feeling out there? The Brisbane, this is the one that's got away and it might cost them a chance of making the finals?
Well, I think it is, Bruce. They really did have to win this. As we know, this home ground advantage is a tremendous advantage to them. But the weather wasn't like it has been the other times I've been up here. And, you know, that wasn't a real factor today. But they really did have to win, yes.
Give us your votes, Don.
Well, I gave 3 to Alistair Lynch. I thought he was just superb. 2 to Craig Lambert. He really does get in and under those packs, and playing against his old side, I suppose he wanted something to show them. And I gave 1 to Richardson. I thought his 3 quarters was pretty good, but his last half of the last quarter was really quite sensational.
Controversial there, Don. 5 of the 6 votes going to Brisbane. Richmond winning the game. After the match, Matthew Campbell caught up with Stuart Maxfield.
And with me is Richmond wingman Stuart Maxfield. Congratulations, Stuart. A magnificent performance by yourself.
Yeah, thanks a lot, mate. It was a really good team effort today, because I think it's a big ask to come up to Brisbane and play in the heat and that sort of thing. And it was a close game, but the boys just kept chipping away and sticking to the team plan and, come out on top.
Now, you started off on Shane Hamilton and you seem to play wide of each other and you're picking up heaps of possessions, and then they put Matty Kennedy on in a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, Matt Kennedy seemed to play wide again, but there's one, big win on the other side, and I think I had the easier wing to play on today, but Matt Kennedy came on, he had a bit fresh leg, so I had to work things out and get things together with him, but it seemed to work out all right in the finish.
Now, the Bears came back and then hit the front in the last quarter. They seem to have the momentum, but I think that's the way Richmond are playing at the moment, showing lots of character to come back again.
Yeah, the boys, we've just, really turned the corner now. 5 or 6 wins in a row, I think. And the boys are just really determined. Got a lot of heart and just really having a dip.
Well, he kicked the first goal of the match, Stuart Maxfield. Scotty's gone off and a half. He says, how dare I question his 1, 2, 3 for the Sportsworld Player of the Year. Now, the MCG today, Essendon all over the top of Fitzroy in the end. A remarkable final term where they kicked 9 goals without a miss. It was 24 goals, 9 to 12 goals, 17 in the end. Now, Jared Healy's 1, 2, 3 for the Sportsworld Player of the Year. Paul Salmon got the 3. Barry Young, who kicked 4 goals, got 2. David Calthorpe got 1. And after the match, Jared caught up with the big fish himself, Paul Salmon.
Well, Paul, another great game. You've really come back to form after that Achilles tendon problem.
Yes, it's been a pleasant surprise. It's like a turning point for me to come back from an injury and play more on the ball, which suits the type of injury I've had. So it's freed me up a little bit, and I suppose put your money where your mouth is. For so long I've wanted to do what I'm doing now. It's a great relief to do it all right.
You're speaking about playing in the ruck there. You did dominate centre bounces.
Yes, that's what I'm speaking about. It's we're still working in tandem with Steve and Lesio. It's working well. I'd like to probably incorporate a few more goals in the game. First couple back, I was playing safe and dropping back across half back. But I think slowly as my fitness increases, I'll be able to cover a bit more of area, and hopefully all the better for me and the team.
Well, Fitzroy, they just hung on quite well. You couldn't shake them, but then a 9-goal final quarter really did separate the two teams.
Yeah, so this is a very, very important game for us. I think it couldn't be underestimated, what hinged on this game as far as our position in the top 8 goes. They did hang in very well. They were with us. They persisted very, very well, but just got a break. And sometimes it doesn't take much in football today. And we were rather dispirited late in the last quarter, and felt that they put in so much of effort. I think it must be rather demoralising, but credit to them, for the most part, I thought they were very good.
Paul Salmon with Jared Healy. Essendon tonight, one of 4 teams on 9 wins in the competition. Later tonight, we'll be talking to Tim Watson, reviewing that match between Essendon and Fitzroy. A break. Terry Wheeler comes back after this to summarise the first half. Quite a scoreboard at half-time. Crows kicking 4 goals, 2 in the second term to 2-3. And surprisingly lead at half-time, 6-5 to 6-4. Very emotional here at half-time when the Crows left the ground, and they will carry a lot of spirit into the rooms, Terry Wheeler.
Oh, they will, Bruce. I mean, a very good fight back there. There early in the first quarter. It didn't look good for the Crows, but Sean Wren has been a leading light for them, and he has now picked up other teammates who are prepared to really work hard at the ball. Bickley started well. Wiedemann is now coming to the game, and McGuinness. Now, the game started very, very badly for the Crows, because as we can see here, young Ross doing his knee in the opening couple of minutes. I mean, a terrible injury there for him, one that they didn't need, and they've already lost Nigel Smart as well. But here we see some good ruck work, and Tony McGuinness getting the goal that they needed. So the Crows, with the first 2 goals on the board, had a good start.
Yeah, they look pretty good, and then the West Coast kicked a couple of very good goals with Pike and Heady, both opportunist goals, and Sumich was all right too.
They did. They've come back and then kicked the next 4, and Heady here being, as you called him there, the opportune rover, really taking hold of the opportunity and putting it through. They looked very good at that particular stage, the West Coast Eagles, and you would not have given the Crows much of an opportunity at all. But then this player here, Mark Rasciuto, started to take over at half forward. Leading up, taking strong marks. His move here onto Nigel Smart, who had opened the game quite well and was showing some promise at centre half forward, and then going on to Modra, who finally got some repay for his efforts of being able to play in front.
Just a few signs there for Modra, aren't there? Interestingly, when Smart went off, Jakovic has eventually been taken from the ground. It says a lot about Mickey Malthouse as a coach. Here's the man who's probably leading in their best and fairest, taken from the ground because the balance is not quite right.
That's right. I mean, Jakovic has been a tremendous player for them all year. I think he leads their disposal, he leads their marks, he's the key man. But Mick's here to win a game tonight, and he'll do whatever has to be done. And if that's his call that they're a little bit big, well, he's done very well on it.
Modra, a couple of goals, and gave away a handball which resulted in a goal. And they've had a bonus also with Kluzek, who came on for Ross, able to snap a couple out of the forward pocket.
That's a real bonus for them, to be able to have some player to be able to do that. But this mark here really depicts Sean Wren's game. Ashley McIntosh having a shot. Wren works hard, gets right back to the last line of defence. I mean, he's taken 9 marks here tonight at half-time. A tremendous effort.
Can he keep going?
Oh, I think he can. He's been great.
I wonder if the Crows can keep going. They lead by a point at half-time. Back with the second half after this.
Okay, everyone, you great voices now. Let's go to the Adelaide Cavalry Crows.
Half-time at Football Park. Adelaide lead West Coast by 1 point. It's 6-5 to 6-4. Chris McDermott giving a rev up to the Adelaide Crows. They're down to 19 men. Ross and Smart both out of action. Neil Curley on the boundary line. You said that there was a terrific feeling in the rooms before the match. What about the feeling now, Neil?
Well, Bruce, I've seen something on the ground tonight from the Crows' point of view that hasn't been there for quite some time, and that's real, genuine team spirit and commitment and feel for each other. They are really playing as a determined side tonight, whereas over the last few weeks, they've been playing as determined individuals. And there's a hell of a difference when you start to do these things because the scoreboard starts to tick over for you. They're really having a red-hot go. The feeling down here is absolutely fantastic. You'd love to get the limit on your legs and get out and have a crack at it yourself. But they are down, of course, to one player left on the interchange. That may tell at the end of the game. But you don't write these Eagles side off. They are a very, very professional unit. They would have, Mick Malthouse and the crew would have done their sums at half-time. So they would have recognised the fact that Wren is virtually controlling the game. They'll certainly do something there or endeavour to do something. And I'd expect that they'd come out with a real thorough professional approach this quarter.
Neil Curley, Terry Wheeler, Sean Wren has been outstanding. We just wonder, did half-time come up at the right time for West Coast or the right time for the Crows?
I don't think it matters. If the Crows can continue this spirit that they've got out there, they can win this footy match, but they're against a very professional side.
Thanks, Curls. 6 kicks, 11 handballs, 13 hit-outs for Wren, 9 marks. Gee, Neil just intercepted a beautiful handball I gave to you, Terry, didn't he?
And he's been the player. And actually, we can see Turnbull is on the bench now. I think it looks like Jason Ball will have a go at Sean Wren.
Ball to go at Wren. Djakovic back on the ground. Adelaide lead by 6-5, 6-4. Wren wins the tap. Why not? He's won them all night. McKenna very good in the first half. McDermott takes the mark. A Mack kicks it to a Mack. Deep in the centre square. Gives it off to Hart. Hart's been good on Matera. Just a stopping roll. Wiedemann, as Terry Wheeler said at half-time, important late in the second term. Centering kick. West Coast with good numbers back there at the back. Hart, what a season. A very good game again tonight. Runs away. Out wide. Kluzek. Pike falls over and it goes out of play at left half forward. 6-5, 6-4. Kluzek a couple of goals with Modra in the opening half. Sumich and Hetty have been the double men for West Coast as we look at Turnbull sitting it out with Banfield, taken by Kemp at halfback.
Quick hands, but to no one in particular. Ingerson likewise goes again. This is McGuinness. His 18th possession, pulls it back towards the middle. Brennan in front of Modra. To Worsfold, who runs away, touches it down once, props. Nothing on this side of the ground, kicks for height. McKinnon props in front, Turley goes over the top. Wiedemann waits behind, this is Schwert. Inside the centre square, down towards full forward. Modra worked under the ball. A strong forearm that time. Body to body initially. Brennan wins the day. Mainwaring up towards half-back. Meters in the clear. Good lead from Ball. He's got the ball on the wing. Eagles down by a point. Red hot favourites tonight. Good mark low down taken by Evans. The Eagles have won 10 of their last 22 games when they've trailed at half-time. Now only Carlton and Essendon close to that percentage. The lead is just slender. They've got to overcome here. Turley holding the ball surely. Free kick to the Crows.
Very dogged defence there from Wellham. He's been very impressive tonight in being able to get his body in when it needs to go there.
Wiedemann at half-back. Schwert running for him. Must take it now. Gets to it. He's a left footer. Handball over the top. Good chance. Shoot back, Rashudo. He's kicked it. You would love to have had Evans there. Inside 50. Open goal. Bang. Crows by 7 points. He's a good player, that young Rashudo.
He's a tremendous player, and I think Mick Malthouse has perhaps got to look at a bit of a change there from Johnny Worsfold. Rashudo, it was the stimulus in the second quarter with his leading up and marking. Now inside 50 and a perfectly executed kick to goal. Mainwaring has gone off and Banfield on. Mainwaring didn't chase all that well there last time.
The Crows by 7 points. Trying to crash his way through Turley. Comes to Wilson. Banfield on the burst. Long kick down towards full forward. Lee comes back. How will it bounce? Well enough. He played it shrewdly. Just pushed it across the line. some of the Crows faithful. And of course, you leave the crowd in the game at Football Park at your peril. 7-5 to 6-5. Scott Lee. A study in indecision. Kick it to him, I would. Wren wants it down the middle, but it's wide of Wren and comes to Schwert. Stephen Schwert kicks it out wide, ill-directed. Wiedemann kept his eye on the ball and as a result favoured by the kick as it turned out, if not initially. Wiedemann through the middle, sets it up wide for Modra. He won't be in the contest. Oh, terrific grab by Waterman. Fine mark, plays on. Hart swings it out very wide. Ball drops the mark and the ball goes across the boundary line. He was stretching. It wasn't an easy mark for a big man. Ball out of bounds, out of side, and the Eagles are being challenged.
Trailing by a goal. It's a reasonable move ball onto Wren, doesn't it? Ball already getting to the footy a couple of times and stretching Wren out, and he'll be very tired, the big man from Adelaide. Bickley went to ground, off the ground by Wilson, hassles it forward, which is symbolic of Wilson as a footballer.
Bruce, I think you'll see that ball will work from wing to wing, trying to get Wren off the goal-to-goal line, so they're forcing him wide and away from the centre-half forward position.
Kemp tried to steal there off Wren and again held up. Crows leading by a goal. McDermott finally giving it to Peter Carey, who's working with Mark Nash and Kevin Chambers tonight. Cold night in Adelaide, completely still conditions. McGuinness has had 15 kicks so far, that one around the body. Tumbling ball. Matera, who hasn't had a big night as yet, but he can cut you apart in 5 minutes, to Hart. Hart runs from centre wing. Probing kick to centre half forward. Oh, good grab by Wellman. First year player who looks to be a find. Runs away from half back. Schwert to go for it with Banfield. Banfield punches it away, gets a good bounce. Brought down as he gets the kick towards Sumich. Evans. Still with Evans. Outside 50. Little kick of beauty to Heady. Takes the mark within scoring distance. Has kicked 2 already.
He'll kick from on the 50. Brett Heady. Both his goals in the opening term. Lewis peels off from alongside Heady, offers a lead inside the 50. Schwert covers that. Heady looking goalward. A Heady kick. It's bending back, not quite the carry. Big pack up. This is Jamison breaking away. There was a push in the back on McGuinness. He cannoned into the player kicking the ball. The umpire didn't see it, but it affected the kick. Bad luck for the Crows. Banfield goes short and finds Kemp. Now, that's an interesting one. McGuinness was shepherding and was pushed clearly in the middle of the back and collided momentarily with Jamison. And now Ball's got the ball at centre half forward.
Mainwaring back on for Heady. Heady off and Mainwaring on.
What can Ball do? This will test him. Doesn't get onto it. Wayward kick to the right-hand side. Pittman pushes it across the line yet again. So they concede another behind. The Eagles get closer. 6-6, 7-5. Jamison to the pocket. Wren. His 10th mark, so he's on pace for the best individual performance this season. This is Hart. Earlier this year, Wayne Carey took 17 against Hawthorn, marks that is, in round 3. And already, Wren, 18 possessions, 10 of them marks.
Crows by 5.7566. Centre wing, Ingerson won the tap. Matera. Wiedemann fell over it. It's got to get rid of it now. Scooped it out. Ben Hart, quick kick, didn't go far. Went to another Hart. Hart to Hart as he kicks the ball back into the centre. Wilson, good effort. Kept his feet, didn't go to ground. Charges away, chips it beautifully. Sumich makes it. Good play by Wilson.
Good mark too, low down.
It might get down to, Terry, out of Sumich and Modra, which one could really, if one of them could excel and find their form in the second half, they could have a big bearing on the outcome of a low-scoring game.
If one of them can get themselves up to the 5 or 6 goal mark for the game, yes, that will decide the result.
He's kicked a couple, Sumic. He's kicked well tonight. He's having a battle to win the leading goal kicker of the club this year. I guess that's not on his mind at the moment. Heady's got 30 goals for the season. Sumic has got 26. And Lewis also prominent as Sumic kicks. And it's a good-looking kick off the boot. He's kicked his third. West Coast in front. 7-6 to 7-5.
And they needed to reply there very quickly. The Crows came out with everything going for them, got the opening goal, but again the Eagles were able to steady. And in this particular piece of play, the key part was Wilson being able to keep his feet in that contest against McDermott, got the break, and Sumic on the lead was able to finish it off again.
A goal in every quarter for Peter Sumic. The West Coasters lead by a point. Wren gets it down. Rashudo knocked it in front. Socket off the ground by Wren. Picked up by Pike. Scrambles it high down towards half forward. Lee behind. Going back was McKinnon. Socket off the ground by Wellman. Opportunity for Matera. Strong tackle applied by McDermott. McDermott gets his second chance. Tries to crash his way out. The hand pass comes across to Pittman. Hacked out of midair by Hart. Opportunity for the Eagles wide of the pack. Mainwaring just back on. Great desperation down there. I think it was Wellman who dived on the boot. And the ball spills out of bounds in the pocket. Well, the Crows have to play for keeps. And the West Coast Eagles generally do. Boundary throw in. Right full forward. Wren. Tireless so far. Props in front. Clean possession almost. Falls to Bickley. Boots it towards the outer side. Lewis couldn't control it. Socket away by Wiedemann, who goes again towards the outer side. In front is Pesh just on the ground. He can't keep it in. And a boundary throw in directly on the wing. The West Coast Eagles now by a point.
Smart, who be most unlikely to take any further part. David Brown, who started on the ground tonight. Bit disappointing in the first quarter and a bit. Kemp's kick from centre wing. High, wide, and out on the full. Big roar for the Crows supporters. Lee from half-back. It's beaten early by Heady. Swap came there. Jamison went back onto Heady. Up towards centre wing. Ball doing well on Wren. Now McGuinness. Another possession. Not so many quality ones tonight, but plenty of. Rashudo went to ground, went off the ground. Ricocheted away from Ingerson. Getting back Worsfold. Stops and props. Looks for a free kick, and it runs out, and he'll be pretty happy with that. Liptak, who came on the ground for Smart, took a mark immediately. Crows fans wanted a 50, didn't get it. And he turned it over with a poor kick. There's Liptak. Quick kick under pressure. Modra out of position. Kluzak. Oh, good mark by Brennan. A terrific mark. And Modra's got to get involved in those high balls that are coming in. Excellent kick. Finds Lewis. Lewis short. Seems to have all day when he's playing with confidence. Turley. Well done by McKinnon. Out of place centre wing. Some good signs for the Crows from some of their unheralded players tonight. One of them McKinnon.
Boundary throw in. Wren and Ball. Ball does best. Gets it down. McGuinness. The umpire, a quick whistle, decides to ball it up. Well, Modra's got to lead more. It's too much a one-dimensional thing at the present time. The high ball in. And Brennan is winning that battle. Modra coming out in a strong lead. You think back to some of his best performances. He was Dunstall-like with those strong marks at about face height. McDermott across the body, pushed in the back. He will get the free kick. Well spotted by the umpire. So McDermott at right half back. Eagles by a point. A real sense of drama here at Football Park. There goes the kick towards the wing. Pittman in front. Lewis did well, slapped it out wide to accommodate Turley and or Evans. Well, McKinnon goes in. McGuinness tries to come out. Evans slaps it away. Bickley and Evans, two feisty customers on a collision course there. Turley sandwiched between them. And the umpire will ball it up. Down towards the point of the square, out towards left half forward. That's throwing the ball. Wren just tossing ball out of that contest. Goes up and wins it down. Wiedemann and Matera. And they wrestle to the ground. Was Terry.
Goals hard to get. They've been hard to get all night. Just 7 apiece. into the heart of this third quarter. Eagles by a point. Punched away by Benhart. McIntosh. McKenna. Oh, sold it well against Wren. Then goes out wide. Good looking kick. Finds Wilson on the run. Wilson brings it back onto his left. Bouncing ball, Lee. Free kick. No. Bounce. Evans trying to break McKinnon's tackle. McKinnon getting better and better as this game goes on. Some of his defensive work in this quarter's been outstanding. Pittman went, probably should have taken it out of there, gives it up. McIntosh under pressure, kicks it behind. West Coast stretches its lead to 2 points. Subdued tonight, McIntosh, all right, but not dominant. He's had 7 kicks, a couple of marks, a couple of handballs. Normally good for a couple of goals when played up forward.
Kicked in members side. Pittman surrounded, got hands to it, couldn't hang on. This is Wellman. Hart, too hot for him to handle. Lewis tried to go through, couldn't control it. Kemp went down. Wellman's over the ball. It comes out behind. Hart did well, got it to Pittman. To the run of Lee, who boots it towards the wing. Good kick. Pesh goes towards the middle. Schwert. Stephen Schwert lays it off. Wiedemann, a natural left footer, kicks for space. Modra, low down. Great effort. And that's what he's got to do. And maybe the runner's been out. There was space. He ran to it. Wiedemann with the left boot, always going that way.
And so well read. Schwert to Wiedemann, the left footer, and Modra took off in the right direction. There was plenty of space there, and took the mark very aggressively on the attack at it.
Modra, 55 metres out, goes for distance. They contest a couple of metres out. Big ride from the back. Kluzak. Wow. It'll be interesting to see how he got there, because if I'm not mistaken, there were hands on the shoulders to launch himself, but he was very quick-witted to hang on to the mark. Great dexterity there by Kluzak. He's put on the angle, but I think he's lucky to have the ball. He'll kick from 5 metres out. We will watch again with interest. Meantime, Kluzak gets the goal.
Kick 3, Crows back in front.
And he's given the bite that they really needed down there in the forward line with those 3 goals. It's been tremendous. Let's have a look at the mark again. Modra driving it in right in onto the goal line. Who's at the back? Bit of a hand there to push himself up. You'd have to say the umpire was unsighted from it. Finish it off very well. That is a good avenue to goal now.
Crows by 4 points. Kluzak 3 goals. Ran out of the centre. He did use Waterman. Kluzak put his hand on his shoulder and got a big lift from him. Worst foul. Oh, out the foul. The captain can't believe it. Well, could Kluzak go back and kick a 4th? He is a bit of a sharpshooter. His goal from the pocket against Richmond was a beauty under pressure. And a couple of his goals tonight have been outstanding. And you'd say that his confidence is sky high. Why not take a shot from the pocket? Goes for goal. It's a good kick, just fading across behind. 8-6-7-7. It's been a worthwhile contribution. 3 goals, 2 in his 3rd game of AFL footy. 8-6-7-7. McKenna. Very short, very cool. You'd love to be alongside of him in a crisis. Waterman. To Kemp. McIntosh. Got away from Ricciuto too easily. Then Kemp. To centre wing. Wilson. Oh, good mark, Wellman. It's getting better as the game goes on. McDermott. To Pittman. Pittman at centre wing. To centre half forward. Jakovic, who's been conspicuously quiet. McKenna, who's been outstanding. To Waterman. Good kick inside, gets to Evans in the centre square, uses the runner Banfield.
Banfield, forward of centre, kicks inside the 50. Sumich, almost a clever mark was he held, not according to the umpire. Schwert gets the high, floated out towards the wing. Wiedemann, great running mark.
Best game he's played, I reckon.
Yep, and Lee was on momentarily, but Wiedemann was on the ground. He kicks towards centre half forward. Kluzak from behind. Up he goes. He's mastered that little push. That time it was a teammate. Down goes Hart. Pressure great from the Crows. Socket off the ground through midfield. taken now by Mainwaring. It was Evans who socked the ball to him, almost the clever mark to Turley. McKinnon comes away, the left footer across the goal face. Pittman has to wait, knocked away by Spiggs. Free kick to Pittman. Pittman will take the kick, the umpire blowing emphatically. The crowd 150. Pittman will take the kick.
Definite interference there as he went for the mark, just turned around and pushed in front on.
So Pittman kicks towards the wing. Wren is there. Ball doing a good job on him. Knocked it away. McGuinness emerges. Well played, Tony McGuinness. Searching kick inside the 50. Modra in front. Could have almost got a kick. Away comes Hart. He was held, I think, initially in the run of the ball, Modra. But Hart kicks it towards the outer side. It bounces in front of Matera, arches the back, plays it superbly. Drew two to himself, gets it across to Waterman. Waterman comes away from half-back, kicks long towards half-forward, fisted by McDermott, roved by McKinnon. McKinnon the chip pass, finds support down the ground. This is Hart, who decides to stop. Now he goes looking for Ingerson, full-chested at that one. And the man with the flowing hair has the ball about 85 metres from goal. Goes towards the pocket. It seems McIntosh has gone back in defence. Kluzek again. He's got four.
The Crows forward line is starting to look so much better out of the actual full forward line now. Tony Modra hitting the ball as hard as he possibly can. He's been able to give the ball, the contest to be there, and Kluzek is a player now who is able to take hold of the opportunity and put the goals on the board.
Roaring here, Kluzek 4 goals. It's been a great minute for the Crows. Bickley caught, held up. It'll be a bounce in the centre square. It's 9-6 to 7-7. They've blown a fuse in the box. It's so exciting here. A couple of goals in it. Wren, can he keep going? West Coast under pressure. Banfield, good handball on the up to Mainwaring. Mainwaring to full forward, one out, important here. Sumic used his body beautifully. Runs onto it under pressure. Handball, outstanding, Evans. Goal! A great bit of football by Sumic. West Coast get one back quickly, and they needed it. 8-7 to 9-6.
The quick feed comes out, and Mainwaring, after spending time on the bench now, has really got to work himself into the game, and the delivery down over there gave Sumic a chance over the back. But that's very good play from Sumic, hemmed him on the left foot, the handball over the top to Evans, who finished it off. A good reply by the Eagles.
Crows by 5 points. Wren wins it down. Rusciuto crashes through. Kemp keeps it in front. At close quarters, did he throw it? According to the umpire, he did. Crows will get the free. McGuinness to take it. McGuinness just forward of the wing. A look of grim determination. Long into the forward line. Modra's moving down there. Almost the juggled mark. It falls to Schwert. Away to Pesh, the youngster. Across the goal face. Kluzek's out there. But in front, the mark is held by McKenna. He's been terrific. To Waterman. It takes a while. Kicks towards the outer side wing. Up in front was Wilson, diving back, McDermott. Hart now, Hart towards half forward, spears the pass into Rusciuto. Rusciuto's got this one, back near the centre circle. Modra drops back, Rusciuto goes for distance. Low percentage kick, big packet to fall off the ball, Ingerson!
Well, I think they're here for keeps, Terry, tonight. They're not going to get blown over now, are they?
The Crows were in a position going to this game, Bruce, where it was a must-win for them. To not perform tonight, to not to go home with the points, would have basically had their year finished. And there's a lot to fight for, and these boys have done a very, very good job in that scenario.
Well, you just don't get a dud here on a Sunday night. It just never happens. 10-6, 8-7. Pike out of the centre. Lee, well played at the back though by McKinnon again. And Jamison Now Turnbull, quick kick away. Chance for Evans. Chasing it hard. Hart out after him. Hart's done the job on Matera tonight. Evans goes back inside to Lewis. Twists and turns under pressure. High ball. Is that out on the fall? It is a Crows kick. Saying a moment ago, they may well be beaten tonight, the Crows, but they won't be rolled over. They've stood up now for too long. They're in the fight for good. 10-6 to 8-7. It's going to be a great finish. Hart goes to half-back. Pittman went early, couldn't spring himself up. It goes to Kemp. The class of the West Coast players will come to the forte now as Main Wearing kicks towards Sumich. Punched away. Pesh's handball okay to McKinnon. McKinnon looks, goes out wide, looks for Liptak, trying it with the one hand, ridden to the ground, no free kick. McGuinness free kick, that time against Worsfold at centre wing. Plays on. Stretches away now from Main Wearing, goes out wide. You've got Bickley and Jakovic. Bickley kept his eye on it pretty well. Free kick to Jakovic against Bickley. And the man who would be second favourite for the Brownlow, who's had a quiet one tonight, the favourite is the Diesel, sitting at home in Carlton somewhere.
Jakovic goes towards the outer side. He's short of that. Brim's got it. Back it comes to McDermott, shrugs a tackle, gets the kick off, back towards half forward. In front, Bickley. Here's McGuinness. Hard against the boundary line, across the body he goes. Almost a clever mark, Waterman, not paid. Close to the line, Liptak can't keep it in. Just over 2 minutes till three-quarter time.
Dennis, Tony McGuinness has been just tremendous this quarter. The work that he has put in, Wren, a lot of the balls that Wren has gone for have been spoilt by ball, but McGuinness has been there nearly on every occasion.
McGuinness, 24 possessions. Rashudo has been strong since quarter time. Pulls it back towards the kick-off line. Modra in front. Schwert now 35 metres from goal. Important kick. Off the mark. Behind. Stephen Schwert. The season very much on the line, and the Crows lead by 12 points.
A couple of minutes remaining in the third quarter. Waterman out very wide, gets Kemp at 50. Best and fairest in their premiership year. McIntosh runs the measure, kicks it long. Pittman at the back. McKinnon having a good turn. Handball straight to the boundary line, finds it out of play. Big crowd again tonight, just about full. Very few vacant seats. Must be 46, 47,000. What a weekend for the AFL with 85,000 at the MCG yesterday. Hart gets away from Ben Hart. Centering kick to Wilson. Lee at the back. Matera hasn't done a lot. On the run, he'll kick this. Hits the post. Crow fans roaring. Well, Hedy's hit it twice. Matera's hit it once. 8-8 to 10-7. If Baggio hits it tomorrow morning, they'll roar, won't they? Goes out wide and gets to Pesh.
Pesh, high kick towards the wing. Ball knocked away by Wren. McGuinness, nicely done. Hand passes wide, and Turley pushes it across the line. Good result for the Crows there. 10-7, 8-8 inside the last minute of the third term. Ball gets it down to Kemp, dragged off it. Wilson going nowhere. McDermott, nicely done. Floats the kick through the wing. McKenna under the ball. Pike controlled it pretty well. Flicked it across to McKenna. McKenna back towards half forward. McKinnon. Back came McDermott with courage. Three of them fell over. Not McKinnon. Gets it away towards Lee. Lee finds McDermott. Boots towards the outer side. Waiting behind Rashudo. Strong mark. Rashudo. 18th possession towards half forward Ingerson. Jakovic made him earn it. Off the ground, Bickley. Still Bickley. He stopped it pretty well. He was taken high, says the umpire. Advantage is paid. Bickley runs to 50. Long kick. Kluzak slipped over. As a result, Waterman uncontested to McIntosh. Here come the Eagles around the members' side, but the clock is running down. In front, Matera. He's going to get a free on the siren. Three-quarter time. Standing ovation from the faithful at Football Park. The league leaders are being challenged. The Crows lead 10-7, 8-8, and Graham Corns runs onto the ground.
No, there's not.
Three-quarter time, 4 goals again for the Crows in that term to a couple for West Coast. So 4-2 and 4-2 in the last 2 quarters for the Crows, 2-3 and 2-4 for West Coast. Neil Curley, you had a bit of a sniff at half-time. I'm just wondering how deep that sniff is right now, Curls.
Oh, it's getting great, but it's amazing. You know, the Crows football fans over the last couple of months haven't seen this type of endeavour on the field. And it applies to any sport, and particularly team sport, and more in particular in our Aussie rules, we have the greatest number of players on the field of any sport, where you cannot get by with 7 or 8 players trying to shoulder the whole workload. And that's been what's happened to the Crows over the last couple of months. But tonight, we have every player on the ground sharing the workload and applying pressure and commitment all over the ground on every occasion, and the results on the scoreboard. And it doesn't matter how good the opposition is, if you have a team of players that are prepared to work damn hard, apply pressure, attack the footy, chase, tackle, smother, do all those things, you can turn a footy game around. But remember, the Crows were in this exact same position at Subiaco not that long ago, but Mickey Malthouse now has to make the moves. All Graham Corns has to do is to make certain his players can keep applying the pressure. The job is up now to Malthouse to make the necessary moves to try and turn the game back in West Coast favour.
Do you think ball worked on Wren?
Oh yes, Wren since half-time, of course, hasn't had the influence on the game, and you could see that was going to happen. They had to run a man against Wren to try and nullify him in a defensive manner, and Ball's done that, and I think someone else will get the job, say, halfway through this quarter. But it's the little players of the Crows, the smaller players, that have all of a sudden started to find the ball at ground level. Kluzak up in forward pocket has proved a sensation, and it's amazing in footy matches, particularly tough footy matches, when the little things start to go your way, the game starts to go your way as well. and the little things are starting to go the Crows' way at this stage.
Wellman and McKinnon were good across the back.
Oh, the defence tonight has been very, very good for the Crows. McKinnon in particular has found his feet at half-back where he should be played. Wellman has been very, very good. Jamison's been good. And Pittman hasn't allowed any easy ball to be controlled through the centre-half forward area. You know, the Crows are in a situation now, if they want to win a footy match, they've just got to show some character and some determination and win this game for themselves and their fans.
Good on you, Curls. As we look ahead to next week's matches, Adelaide plays Sydney here on Friday night. Some terrific games on Saturday. Hawthorn, North Melbourne, Footscray, Collingwood. Crunch games, Essendon, St Kilda. Then on Sunday, Geelong and Carlton, Adelaide 200, Brisbane, Fitzroy, West Coast and Richmond. And Melbourne has the bye. So a fascinating round coming up, starting on Friday night. Well, great scenes here. Emotions running high with Adelaide leading by 11 points at 10-7 to 8-8. Well, Terry Wheeler, Graham Corns, he must have been buoyed by what he saw in that third quarter.
Definitely, Bruce, and particularly like some of the younger players that we've already mentioned. Wellham in defence, McKinnon in defence, Kluzik in the forward line now with some 4 goals, and even Pesh got in amongst it there with some vital touches.
10-7, 8-8. Will the Crows still be alive in 30 minutes' time? Will they still have a chance in 1994? Or West Coast go on again? Pikes kicked to half forward. Lee got a punch away from Evans. Evans was all right in that third quarter with a goal, a high ball. Sumich being held up. McDermott fills the hole. Under pressure, Jamison boots it high and wide. Goes out towards Schwert, who's been pretty good tonight. Banfield with him. They go to the boundary line and out of play. Free kick coming back to Schwert. Goals have been hard to get, therefore you'd say the first one's pretty important here. It's either a 3-goal margin for the Crows or a 1-goal game. Rashudo, the free kick was paid, advantage given. It goes up to half forward. Ingerson, very good to McGuinness, touched it on the ground, goes long, this is a chance! Kluzak! It's kick 4.
This is an absolute find for the Crows, isn't it? A boy like this to come in when the game was in the balance with Ross going off early and then Smart. This boy has come in and stood very, very tall.
4 goals, 2 from the pocket. This to give Adelaide a 17-point lead. He's got it. Well, if you were bookmaking, I reckon for the first time tonight, Adelaide's favourite. For the first time, you'd have them slightly in front of West Coast. 11-7 to 8-8. McGuinness again, 20 kicks he's had, Terry.
He has been the instigator of this whole game. I think Wren initiated early, but McGuinness has stuck strong right throughout. And if you're a coach in these positions, Bruce, and you get some of your young boys standing up, that's the buzz in it all.
So the Crows by 17 points. Wren goes up and thumps it forward. Matera straight back to Wren. Nicely done. Sidesteps and kicks down towards half forward. Jakovic thumps it out wide. Worsfold in front. Hasn't had a great night. Worsfold went to ground. Banfield crashes in. Socket off the ground by Jakovic. Out of bounds. Boundary throw in. Michael Malthouse. An intense look. Coaching his 250th AFL-VFL game. Close to the boundary line. It's out of bounds. 114 with the West Coast Eagles. The side up against it at the moment. Football Park crowd and the Adelaide Crows. A very potent combination. Turnbull on it behind. Wiedemann's kick goes straight up in the air. Pittman, wild swing at it. Comes back to Wiedemann. Gets it across to support Beckley. Wilson reaches over the top. This away. McGuinness in front. Close to the line. Can he keep it in? No, he can't. So a boundary throw in. Few free kicks tonight. Just 24 of them paid. The Eagles have got 9. Adelaide 15. And the umpires have let them play. Turnbull knocks it down. Taken by Wilson. Hart, very good. Close to the line. Pulls it back across his body. Going back with great courage was Beckley. He's hurt. He collided there with Lewis. This is Wiedemann. McDermott's in trouble. Lewis got him. Close to the line. Matera overran it. And the ball's out of bounds once more.
Beckley groggy. Picks himself up. Eyes on the ball. Lewis going hard as well for 11-7-8-8. Centre wing, Wren and Turnbull. Wren won it. McDermott, a lot of kicks across half-back. Been caught out a couple of times, but he's done pretty well. Well played by Pesh. First game tonight. Got away from Wilson. Centering kick. Modra at the back. Climbs high. No free kick to McIntosh. Is he on Modra for the moment? Held up and a ball up about 40 metres from the Crows' goal. Brennan's done a good job on Modra.
Yes, but I think Mick has made that move. He was getting a little bit edgy. I think you get the feeling that Modra could get on the end of some stuff very, very quickly here now.
Gee, wouldn't they like him to get on the end of one here at 40 metres out. Hart run off it. Schwerk tried an airy. He didn't try an airy. He had one. Tried one off the ground. Over the top of it was Ben Hart. And again, it's going to be Peter Carey's footy. Hart's done well. He's been out there to stop Matera, and then he's done that job successfully so far. A punch away to the pocket. Kluzek, the man of the moment. 5 goals from the pocket. Can he use this effectively? Goes back. Good kick. And Rashudo will make the distance. And I think he might kick a goal. He's probably the best kick in the Crows from this position.
That's great thinking for a boy so inexperienced, I guess, at AFL level, to be able to look for the squaring up kick at all opportunities, and Rashudo was there.
It's kick one. Big, long kick. Got it. Gee, I'd make some money betting on that fellow, wouldn't you? Shooting for goal. What a player he is at 19 years of age.
He's got the world in front of him, hasn't he? The Teal Cupper in 1991, 19 games in his first year in 93 with 3 finals. Mark Rashudo has been a consistent player right throughout this game and has been a source of supply through half forward all evening.
Out to 23 points now. Beckley out of the middle, floats one very high towards half forward. Wilson, good mark. Wilson up from half-back, comes out wide. Pike into open space, has this ball on the wing. A real test now for the league leaders. Back in round 2, they trailed by 16 points at three-quarter time, Bruce, and got back to win by 19, but different sort of affair this. Doesn't look likely. Heady, he was the man that sparked them at Subiaco Oval. That was a clever mark. He started tonight with 2 goals. He finished in that game, of course, with 4. Gives it away. McDermott to Jamison. Jamison across the ground. Now Hart will stretch. How will it bounce for him? Mainwaring arrives. Hart knocks it on. Tried to get it to his own advantage. Mainwaring wins the contest. Back inside the 50. Waiting behind McGuinness. Dropped the mark. Opportunity for Heady. Heady back to goal. Lays it off to Evans. Worked out of it well by Lee. McGuinness comes back. Anxious to make amends. Heads for the boundary line. And finds it. And the crowd are rapturous.
Just thinking, I think the Crows kicked the first goal in the last quarter at Subi and got to 22 points. And they now lead by 23. Big difference playing in front of their home crowd. And what a difference in those weeks the season has been for the 2 clubs. Bickley to centre wing. Brown, well done by Hart. Brown just held on to him a bit. Rashudo held up. Well done. Wiedemann has to handball. Doesn't. Breaks it. Gets some distance with the left leg. Ingerson sets himself up. Good play by Ball. He is a very good footballer at 21 years of age. Made his debut 3 seasons ago and looks as if he could play in a grand final under pressure. Pittman had 2 goes at it. Missed by McGuinness. Important there that Jakovic was able to beat 3. Lewis will give it back to Jakovic. Jakovic has to stretch. Wren can't get to him. McDermott can't get to him. Jakovic goes to the pocket. The kick carries and hits the behind post on the fall. A wasted chance for the Eagles, and they need 4 goals to win. They can't afford to waste too many. McDermott gets it, goes long to centre wing. Matera's at the back. Pittman takes a mark. Crows going well at the moment. At half-back, Pittman.
Gentle kick towards the wing. Worsfold attempted the one-hander. Crashes his way through. The ball spills out of bounds. So a throw-in. What about the odds of, at this stage of the game, Matthew Kluzek being the leading goal scorer with 5. The local Eagle thwarting the Eagles. Turnbull out of the congestion, was held without it. He'll get the free kick. That'll be for the kick as he went down to find the ball. Really struggled against Sean Wren in the opening half. Ryan Turnbull chips, Djakovic marks, forward of half forward. 12-7 to 8-8. Djakovic sets it up for Sumic. Up he goes, fingertips to it, couldn't hang on. Desperation by Wellman, shovels it out. Lee couldn't control it. McKenna's hand pass blanketed effectively by Lee. Back across the boundary line. Nod of approval.
McKenna and Djakovic both playing up forward.
Confidence a remarkable thing in a football team, and suddenly it's surging, it's pumping through the veins of these Crows. Matera diving in Wren. Matera comes sprawling out. Wren tries to shovel it out. Coming out backwards, McGuinness scrambles a kick, but only as far as Lewis. He's at right half forward. Gets by McGuinness. He settles, he measures the kick, he goes for home. It's a beautiful kick, it's a goal. Well, you couldn't draw it up any better. The underdogs in front. On the top of the table, Eagles are coming after them.
And they'll need to keep the pace up here, the Eagles, because the Crows have got the momentum, as we've called. The crowd are really urging with them. Lewis here being able to kick the goal that has kept them basically within touch. The Crows need to wrest it back now.
Eagles get one back. Under 13 minutes remaining. 42,860, the official crowd. High tackle, Main Waring. Eagles are coming back at the Crows. From inside the centre square. Good mark across the front, McDermott. He's taken 5 or 6 beauties tonight. Wide, looking for Hardall. Not a good kick. Makes him stretch, and he's got Kemp to beat, one of the best players in the game. Kemp hanging on. McGuinness, a little fumble. Free kick coming back. Is it coming back to Hart against Kemp? It is at centre wing. Matera now off Kemp. Off Hart, I should say. He's playing across half back on Rashudo. Kick to centre half forward. Rashudo at the front, but not a great kick by Hart. Banfield gave it away rather casually to David Hart. Free kick to David Brown. A bit lucky. Ingerson given the advantage. Goes out towards Kluzek. Kluzek sets himself. Modra at the back. Sure hands needed. Pesh to Modra. Can he kick his third? Touched off the boot. Is it round the body? Out of bounds. It was touched. And in the end, that was a good thing for the Crows, because it'll be a throw-in in the pocket. Just 4 kicks, couple of marks, 2 goals to Modra. Wouldn't they love him to stand on someone's shoulders and take a big one and go back and kick a goal in the last quarter? Wren, been magnificent. Pesh breaks a tackle, goes back, gives it to Rashudo's. Kick 2, left foot round the body, off the ground. Or Kluzek tried something remarkable. Romario would have been proud of that. And it'll be a throw-in in the pocket. 12-7, 9-8. We're 11 and a half minutes remaining. So the Crows have been able to increase their lead by 1 goal and have eaten away some valuable time in the final term.
Wren and Turnbull, one by the latter, knocked on by Wilson. McIntosh pushes it across the line. So the West Coast Eagles now needing the next goal, and probably in the next 2.5 minutes or so. And then she will be a very big finish. Turnbull clean possession. Main Waring couldn't control it. Going in solidly was Rashudo. Pesh gets it across to McDermott, who heads for home. It's a good-looking effort. Was it across the line? Gee, that was close. The goal umpire says touched. 12-8 to 9-8. Waterman to bring it in. 11.25 minutes remain. Stabs it into Wilson.
Sitting on the edge of your seat, Dennis, I am.
Well, it's been a great game, hasn't it? Wilson, very short to Waterman. Who's got the lead? Waterman comes back to Wilson.
The Crows have matched up very well one-on-one here. They're holding all the targets.
Wilson now goes for distance. Wren over the top, couldn't hang on. Lewis controls it pretty well. It ricochets off Pittman, goes down towards half-forward. Heady, close quarters to Kemp. Hot one for Matera. Bickley stood his ground, diving on top of it. Pittman, it spills out. McKinnon dives on top of it. In there is Djakovic for the Eagles. A whistle and a bounce.
10.5 minutes remaining. Wren in the front spot. McDermott, Wren. And also Wiedemann in there with Djakovic and Mainwaring. Crows lead by 18 points. They've won 2 out of their last 9. West Coast have won 9 out of their last 10. Top team against number 12. Says a lot for the AFL competition. McGuinness, good kick in the circumstances. Ricocheted off pipe from Bickley. Unlucky, stiff. Lewis running in, Crows 150, not coming. Bickley looking for something. Hugs the boundary line. Ingerson outnumbered. Can he come from the back? He does. Takes a good one. A beauty. Now, if they measure this attack, the Crows, and score a goal, you'd reckon it would be a match-winning lead. Modra on the end of it. Went early. Pesh, can he get a handball? Wilson runs into him. Pesh, does he keep the ball in? No, out of bounds on the fall. The Crows deep in attack, though. Here's Ingerson's mark at the back. He's been all right tonight, Ingerson.
There's some very good signs for the Crows at the moment, and Ingerson is one of them. He can be the focal point through half forward. If he keeps presenting himself, he'll give his side every chance.
Ball goes in short. Djakovic comes on the lead. Just under 9.5 minutes in the game then. And the margin is 18 points. The Crows in front. Wren goes up. Couldn't hang on. McGuinness on the wing. Gets away, gets to his feet. Well done. Wellman's got it forward of the wing. Kicks inside the 50. Too much carry on the kick for Rashudo. Ball, the big man gets back. He needs support. Gets it across to that support. David Hart peels off. Kicks towards the outer side. Mainwaring has slipped away from McDermott. He's got the ball forward of half back. Chris McDermott, or rather Chris Mainwaring, goes in short and finds John Worsfold. He's on the wing. Across the ground. Hart again. Lewis wants it wider. It comes to Lewis. Now he can take it and go. Sumic offers the lead. Drifting across the face of Sumic was Lee. Tidied up by Jamison to Lee. Scrambles it out. It bounces out towards half-back and Brown. Wiedemann's on over the top. Wiedemann's got it. He can take it and go. Kicks towards half-forward. Pesh is there. Well played by Wilson. Knocks it back towards the wing. Went to ground. Pesh slaps it infield. Down goes McGuinness. McGuinness paddles it towards the line. Did he keep it in? Yes, he did. No, he did not. The whistle's gone.
McGuinness.
He kept it in, but he's getting a free. So the umpire compromises. The boundary umpire in perfect position.
Coming in for his 31st possession of the game. Tremendous effort.
3-goal margin to the Crows, 8 minutes remaining. It's tied, McGuinness. Up towards the 50, Wren. Pesh getting some kicks to fall forward. Bouncing ball. Well played, McIntosh. Brilliantly played. Ball and McIntosh in the last minute have done some great things at the back under pressure. Pike got it at a rebound handball. McKenna on the lead. Tries to get away from Wellman. Good handball to Banfield. Modra providing the run. Here's Djakovic. Great mark. Will he kick a goal on the run? He's 35 metres out. That's one of the plays of the year. Fantastic goal by Djakovic. Brilliant. 10-8, 12-8.
Moved from the centre half-back position, spent time on the interchange bench, now into half-forward. The athleticism of a man this size is just incredible. The play, the burst down the wing, allowed him to run onto it, but then just to step around as naturally as you like and be able to slot it through. He's put them back with a chance.
Unbelievable by Djakovic, and the margin back to 12 points. Lewis, quick hands away to Kemp. Controls it pretty well. Out of the middle come the Eagles. Down towards half forward. Djakovic may have inspired himself. Could have been paid the mark. It wasn't. McKenna gets it across to Kemp. 60 metres out. Pulls it back. Evans is down there. One hand to the ball. Sliding in was Hart. Spills back. Socket off the ground by Lee. Out towards the 50. Bickley controls it. He's got some time now. Sweeping hand pass to Wiedemann. Wiedemann pumps it down towards half forward. In front Ingerson. That's a very, very strong mark. Bounces to his feet, pulls it back, good vision, Pesh, unkind bounce, Rashudo back to goal, feeds Ingerson, Ingerson's kick, misses, behind, the margin is 13 points.
It's as good as Bonanza on a Sunday night, this Sunday night footy, isn't it?
Steady.
But rates as well, almost as exciting. Hart. Big finish here from centre half back. Djakovic. Pittman at the back. Mainwaring free kick, surely.
They're still in this.
Oh, they sure are. It's still an even money game. Turnbull. Hart goes. Heady. Well, he's a good finisher. He's a very good finisher.
Oh.
Got it. He's got it.
Nerves of steel.
3 to Heady. It's 7 points the margin, and West Coast have kicked the last 3 goals in this last quarter.
You've certainly called that one correctly. Brett Heady being able to take the ball here, and in such a tight game, in an unfavourable environment, which Football Park is, he kept his head, he kept his cool, he knew exactly what he was doing, and slotted through an excellent goal.
Couldn't spoil that moment with words, could you?
Just over 6 minutes remaining in the game. The margin back to 7 points. This is very important stuff now in the context of the game. Pike goes to half forward. Hit Pittman in the face. Spiked by Lewis. He knocked it towards half forward. It spills out to McKenna. McKenna on the 50. Long kick. Off target. Behind. As we go inside the last 6 minutes of the game. We talked about the much vaunted half-back line for the West Coast Eagles. Well, 2 of them now on the half-forward line. McKenna and Jakovic. Jamison puts the ball back in play. Mainwaring eyes only for the ball. Comes back, recovers, chips inside the 50. Sumich. Well, the crowd want a free kick on the outer side. Bickley was going back with the flat of it. Mainwaring was looking back. Certainly there was contact. Sumich has got this one. It was fair enough. Sumich. A goal in every term. None more important than the one he's about to shoot at here. Peter Sumich. It's close. He's missed. Holds his head as the margin inside a goal now. Still plenty of time.
5 long minutes, Dennis. Jamison. He'll be careful here. Had to Pittman wide, decided to go for Wren. Well done by Turnbull. McKinnon to centre half forward. Rashudo worked underneath it. Brown couldn't quite up. Brilliantly done by Banfield. Hart runs away. West Coast are coming home. They're irresistible at the moment. Jakovic. Pittman. McGuinness on tired legs. Run down brilliantly by Matera. Ingerson, well done by Ball. Wilson breaks away from a tackle. Back to Ball. Maybe he shouldn't have gone to Wilson. Back to Hart. They're playing with confidence. Evans takes his time. Measures a kick to half forward. Heady is lurking there. McKinnon punches it away. Hart. Will he run it out? Will he go back to Lee? No, he goes inside. Good option. McDermott should run away. Important kick. He's got to use it effectively. High ball. Crows need a goal from this attack. Ingerson did well, actually, in the defensive mode. He want to run it out. It goes to Evans at centre wing. Lewis important in the final term. Under pressure, though.
Bruce, I don't like the full forward line set up here with Klug and Modra both well back on the full forward line. I think they need one out now to give Ingerson some assistance through half forward.
4 minutes remaining. Adelaide lead by 5 points.
Turnbull and Wren wrestle. It comes behind. Mainwaring couldn't control it. In there is Pike trying to knock it out. Crawling out after the ball is McGuinness. Claimed immediately by Turnbull. And a bounce on the wing. Down to 3:45. A nick over the eye for Sean Wren. Well, how's this? The Crows have got to win to stay in contention for a spot in the finals. Wiedemann to Liptak. McGuinness heads for the boundary line. And I'm sure just about, 5-10 minutes ago, they thought they were home. But they don't give away top spot on the ladder. And the Eagles have earned it. Turnbull over the top. McGuinness held without it. Will he get the free kick? Yes, he will. Tony McGuinness, forward at the wing. Very important time, obviously. Chips it out wide. The old heads. McDermott's got this one about 75 metres from goal. I would imagine he'll head for the middle. They run the risk of opening it up for them. Now he goes to the pocket. Probably good policy. And the mark is held by Kluzek. The danger with going across is suddenly on the rebound, you can be cut wide open. Kluzek, been a star, 5 goals. It goes from 50. That is a telling kick. They contest about 5 metres out. Behind Ingerson, Rashudo missed it in midair. It's across the line from behind. 2:44 remaining.
Goal the difference. Is that an important point? The Crows leading by 6. Waterman very short. They've done this in the last quarter repeatedly, West Coast. Played little ones to one another before they've set something up. Waterman stops, props. Yeah. Oh, danger. No, finds worse fault. Kluzek couldn't make it. They're very precise at the moment, West Coast. They realise they can't afford a turnover. A goal to the Crows and it would be all over, you would think. Centre wing, Wiedemann happy. He's been good. No question about that. 2 minutes, 20 seconds remaining. I see 2 people in front of me leaving. Impossible. Nobody could do that in a situation like this. A traffic jam's got to be better than that. A bounce again. McGuinness, 26 and 7. McDermott, 19 and 11. 42,000 roaring. Wren and Turnbull. Turnbull over the back. Kemp. Pike the tackle okay. Kemp couldn't quite break it. Wiedemann. Lip tap. You can't make a mistake here. Don't give it away. Pressure. Oh, West Coast win the important ball. Pike. Chance for Hart. He's a great finisher, Hart. He might go all the way and kick a goal. He's 55 out. He goes long. It's right there. And Lee concedes it behind. Was in a position to mark.
He could have gone on to David Hart. He could have run another 15. Marvellous by Mainwaring in that pack to knock it out. Just the deftest of touches. Jamison, a minute and a half to go. Around the outer side, heads for the boundary. Stops the clock. 5 points the difference. 12-10, 11-11. Even money bet from here. The Eagles have been superb in this last term when confronted. Banfield out of the congestion. Jakovic over the top. Bounces off his chest. McKenna keeps it alive. Matera runs away. Matera looks goalward. Stabs goalward and he's missed. Behind. High drama at Football Park as the Crows are fighting for their very survival. Lee to bring it in.
Graham Corns and Michael Malthouse earning their money here tonight.
Graham Corns aging by the moment. There's Lee, goes to the outer side. Good kick. Pittman's got free. Shouldn't have happened. Pittman's got the ball right half back. We're down to a minute. Pittman, high kick towards the wing. In front, Rashudo knocked away by Worsfold, taken by Schwert. Schwert in all sorts of trouble, gets the hand pass off. Brilliant smother by Kemp on McDermott. Back comes McGuinness, heads for the boundary line. Out of bounds and will be thrown in. Clock stops at 44. 12-10, 11-12.
Is this the final play? Adelaide by 4 points. Wren, Turnbull, Mainwaring gets a little kick. Hart, well played, goes to ground. McGuinness goes to ground. Seconds tick away. Nail-biting stuff. Adelaide lead by a kick.
Clock running.
Down to 25 seconds. West Coast will get one chance here. Wren and Turnbull. I'll tear the joint down if Adelaide hang on. McGuinness. This is a very important play to the boundary line. Kemp looks for a free kick. It's not there.
McGuinness's 2 best players, both into the boundary line those last couple of seconds.
Surely the Crows are going to pull off a remarkable victory. Ross and Smart off the ground in the first half. They've won it, the Crows.
Wow, this is incredible. Incredible.
The Crows have won it.
That's tremendous.
Well, Terry, I've got goosebumps and it's got nothing to do with having lived in Adelaide for 30 years. In sport, at its very best, isn't it?
It certainly is. I mean, the Crows going into the game had their backs to the wall. Within 2 minutes, they'd lost one of their key forwards in the planning. And then in the second quarter, lost Nigel Smart. But all of those boys have stood so tall tonight.
What a magnificent game by two teams that have given their all at the two max.
McGuinness has been tremendous tonight. Sean Wren started it all, carried the side through the early part, then Rashudo picked it up with him, then McGuinness, and then the young boys started to come in, and McKinnon, Wellham, Bluesy, they all started to add significant input into the game, the crucial stages, and they just grew and grew in strength and in confidence.
Well, it has a season been saved here tonight. Certainly there's now hope. 5 days' time or 5 nights' time, Sydney, and the opportunity to get some sort of momentum up.
Well, it's been prolonged anyway, Bruce. Interesting, Sean Wren just 4 possessions after half-time, but hopefully his supporters and his teammates won't forget what happened in the first half, because if any one man set the tone for what was to come, it was Sean Wren. His teammates were falling down around him. They were coming off the ground injured, and Wren was the man who stood up when it was needed, and I think set what was to follow, as I say. A memorable victory for the Adelaide Crows when they had to win.
Standing ovation, and the captain goes across and will be talking to Neil Curley. All yours, King.
Okay, well, we have a very, very happy captain with us. And last week, Chris, where you're accused by Gerald Healy of being leaderless, rudderless and lacking commitment. Well, tonight, you certainly showed the football public of Australia that the Crows are certainly not that.
Yeah, certainly, we've been through a pretty rough patch, but, all along we've had the belief in ourselves, and whilst we may not have executed the game properly on the weekend, we always had a pretty strong belief in the blokes that were out there, that we were capable of beating the best again, and playing the best and playing good footy, and it's taken its time to turn around, but it's a pretty good effort tonight. It's one game, we've got to make sure we win the next 5 or 6 and have a real dibber at the end of the year.
Had a lot of good players, but none better than Wren and young Kluzak in the forward pocket there. Gave you a very, very valuable goal scoring avenue.
Wren was outstanding. You can't say enough about the big fella. He works so well and works tirelessly, and he's a great leader. And Matty Kluzak is very good in a confined area. He kicks the goal. He does the spectacular, which is something we've probably been lacking up in the forward lines. And there's a lot of good footy left in Matthew Kluzak, that's for sure.
But they came back at you hard in that last 10 minutes.
Oh, they're a magnificent side. I mean, they're the benchmark, aren't they? And you always want to beat the best side in the competition, and we certainly feel they're it. And it was a good win. We'll take the 4 points tonight.
Go and enjoy your teammates.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Neil. With Chris McDermott. Great scenes here at Football Park. Adelaide winning an absolute thriller. In the end by 4 points, 12-10 to 11-12. Don't go away. Tim Watson shortly in a wrap of this game as well.
It was a difficult one to work out if you didn't know what it was. I was telling Nick that's why.
It's not.
Okay.
Right.
I'll do that now, Greg.
Tim, Bruce McAvaney, mate.
Go, Macca.
How are ya?
Good. That was a good game.
Yeah, they needed it, didn't they?
Yeah, it was exciting, wasn't it?
It tightens things up. You've been over it a few times. You know what it's like. It was just an amazing atmosphere.
Well, yeah, the crowd sounded fairly subdued until...
They needed something, and sort of when Wren got them going in the second quarter, they suddenly found some voice.
Yeah.
You saw, Tim?
Oh, look, I'm not too bad, actually.
Did you just roll over, or...?
Yeah, I just rolled over on it, so it's probably only going to be a couple of weeks, I think.
You've had ankle problems throughout your career, haven't you?
I've had ankle problems towards the end of three seasons, I think.
Yeah.
89, 90 and 91.
Good win, Tim. You just haven't been able to get any rhythm this year, the team, have they?
No.
Do you think you can turn it around? I mean, you on the way?
I think that was our biggest score for the year today.
You got St Kilda next week. I mean, it's hard. You can't look.
Whoa!
3-2-1. You're 3-2-1.
Tim, you were watching there. It's Terry Wheeler here, mate.
Go, Terry.
Hey, all right, who'd you give 3-2-1 to? Here's your chance.
I thought McGuinness was the best on the ground.
He was great, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Just didn't stop. You have to give the 3 to the Crows.
Yeah.
You know, and Rashudo.
You almost have to put McKenna in there, so.
Yep.
I thought for 3 quarters.
Yep. Yep. Chris Johnson. Yeah, the young kid there. Well, so often they're the best games, aren't they? When goals are so hard to get, and they were here tonight. Just 12 for Adelaide and 11 for the Eagles. In the end, the Crows by 4 points, 12-10 to 11-12. Kluzek with 5 for the Crows, and Sumic and Hetty both got 3 for the Eagles. A big upset here. Earlier today, terrific game at the Gabba. High standard, high excitement, and a close one. Brisbane hit the front in the last quarter. Richmond kicked the last 3 goals. Richardson outstanding and Lynch outstanding for the Bears. It was the Tigers, their 6th win in a row, 15-8 to 12-12 Brisbane. And at the MCG today, look at the Bombers in the last quarter. They were fantastic with 9 goals, 0. Against 1 goal, 6. They won 24 goals, 9 to 12 goals, 17. They're one of 4 clubs that has 9 wins tonight. And one of their great players, one of their greatest ever players, joins us tonight from Melbourne, Tim Watson. And Tim, firstly, how is your ankle? I know that you were injured and had to be carried off the ground early in the match.
Look, it's not too bad. I think I've damaged some ligaments on the inside of my ankle, and probably be 2 weeks out of the game, I think.
We're just having a look at the incident now, Tim. It looked to be pretty harmless. You're going for the ball on your own and without any opposition, you're just giving it a big twist.
Yeah, the handball sort of went a little bit behind, and I reached back to grab it, and my foot felt like it actually got stuck in the ground, and I sort of went over on it. So it was it was a fairly ordinary sort of an incident.
Tim, your season with injury has been symbolic of the clubs, really. They've played 38 players going into today's match. Only St Kilda with 40 have used more players. This from the premiership team of last year.
Yeah, look, I think we've found it pretty hard to get a settled side this year. We've had injuries at different times. We've had, Mark Harvey's been out now for a while, and Mark McCurry's been out for 5 games. Very good players for our club, Dustin Fletcher also. So, I just think it's been one of those years when we've just sort of gone in fits and starts and really haven't put it together as yet.
What about James Hird? The story we got here that he may have punctured a lung, may have broken a couple of ribs. Somebody told me a moment ago on AAP that he's got a back injury. Do you know the extent of his injuries?
No, look, I'm not 100% sure. I think that they were concerned that he might have had a punctured lung, and he was taken from the ground by ambulance to the hospital, and I really haven't heard at this stage whether or not it's as severe as they first thought, but he really didn't look too well when he was coming off the ground.
Gee, Tim, fingers crossed. He's such a wonderful player, isn't he, Hird? And such an important player if you are to defend that premiership this year.
Oh, most definitely. Hird, he missed a lot of football last year, but he got it together right at the end as we're going into the finals itself. And look, he's been in great touch this year. He's he's a great competitor, and for a centre half forward, he manages to kick goals for us each week too. So whilst he's been out there, he's probably been one of our most consistent performers this year.
You must be pretty happy you're not playing Fitzroy again this year. You haven't had a very good run against them personally, have you? Your 300th game and you were beaten, and then today.
Well, that's right. I came off during the second quarter when I played my 300th against them, and today I didn't even last that long, so I'll be glad that I never have to play him again.
You're saying, Tim, you're definitely retiring at the end of this year, are you?
Yes, look, I'm definitely giving it away at the end of this year, and I won't be coming back either.
Tim, it's been a remarkable couple of weeks, hasn't it? Dunstall 200 games, one of the greatest ever. Dougie Hawkins breaking the record yesterday, a good mate of yours. Tony Shaw about to break it, and Gary Ablett about to play his 200th next week.
Well, look, yeah, there's four great stars of today's game, and I mean, Dunstall's just one of those players who just seems to get better and better all the time. I think Dougie's just about everybody's favourite. I think not only is he the Footscray fans' favourite now, I think he's become just about everyone's second favourite player too. And it was just great to see him out there. It was great to see that he actually played so well too. I think that some of the media gave him votes yesterday in the game. And look, I don't think that anyone out there will ever rival EJ as Mr. Football, but I think there's always going to be a special place in people's hearts for Dougie Hawkins.
No doubt about that, and a special place in football history for Gary Ablett. I remember the day you stood him in that famous preliminary final at Waverley Park. He is a player of extraordinary talent, isn't he?
Well, look, I've said it many times. I just don't think that there's another player that can take their football to the same level that Gary Ablett's been able to do. And I think that all players actually marvel at his talents. And I've never heard, current players talk about someone that they've been playing against like they do Gary Ablett. I think that he's just one of those extraordinary players that comes along probably every so often. And I think probably even the most remarkable thing about it is the fact that he's probably going to be able to play another 2-3 years as well.
He's the youngest 32 or 33-year-old or whatever he might be in the game. I was just wondering a moment ago, reflecting on your statement that this is it, any regrets that you've gone another year, Tim? It has been frustrating for you. You did finish on the highest note last year possible.
Look, I haven't had any regrets. I trained really hard over the summer. I got myself as fit as I felt that I needed to be coming into another season of football. Look, I knew it was never going to be very difficult, and I think that when I came back last year, as a player, you put yourself on the line. I put myself on the line last year, and I wouldn't have gone ahead and played this year if I hadn't have had the support of Sheeds and other people around the club. They believed that I was capable of playing another year. And look, I haven't set the world on fire. There's no doubt about that. And I'm just sort of one of the players, I suppose, who'd be in the bottom 5 or 6 pick each week. But I enjoy football now, and we've had injuries this year, and I think that we've needed guys who've had experience out on the ground. And I've been able to do that at different times this year, but I'm just going to have to go back now and sort of try and work my way back into the side.
What about Paul Salmon's situation at the club? 5 weeks ago, it looked a bit tenuous. There were a lot of thoughts that Paul Salmon may have run his race at Essendon. All sorts of rumours around the place. He's come back in the last 2 or 3 weeks and played exceptionally well.
Well, look, he's been remarkable, really, because he missed 5 or 6 weeks, as you said. He's come back, and since then he's probably been our best players every week, and he's been playing on the ball. And I think it's something that he's wanted to do for some years now, and he's been continually sort of put back into the full forward position. And as a big guy, I think that he likes nothing more than to run around the ground and use his height. I was going to say pace, but he doesn't really possess any of that. And I think he's just a very good ball reader. He's a very good player. He's very athletic for a guy that's 6'10". And I know that he's felt that he's had a new lease of life back in the side since he's been playing on the ball, and I think he's been a very, very good player for us there.
So what does an injured player do in the week or two that he's trying to prepare himself to get back in the Essendon team? Speaking of you.
Well, I go and introduce myself to the swimming pool just down the road again and try and maintain some fitness there. I haven't really been a stranger to the gym or to the swimming pool this year, so look, it's disappointing. I get frustrated because when you do know it's your last season of football, then really what you want to do is you want to play consistently in the seniors and finish your career that way. And it's just sort of a stop-start thing that means you have to go back, you have to maintain your fitness, you have to come back into the side, get some form and play well again. And I think that's the most frustrating part, even at 33, when you've ridden the roller coaster for as long as I have. It's still very difficult to come to terms with.
Tim, thanks for your time tonight. Good luck for the rest of this year. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Bruce.
Tim Watson, the great Essendon champion. Well, from Tim Watson to some of the marks of the week.
Time now to check the contenders for the Mitsubishi Motors Mark of the Year. Each week, 5 lucky callers will receive a Black & Decker drill pack.
And Gavin Wanganine's the first one in the Slasher Subiaco. Terrific mark by the Brownlow medalist. There's the numbers on the bottom if you think Wanganine's is a mark of the week. There's a beauty by Lee, who had a very, very good match at Optus Oval last week. Was clearly the Crows' best player. Good grab by Chris Grant, having an exceptional season. He's kicked over 40 goals this year and would probably be the best and fairest at the club if they stop now. Alex McDonald, great grab over the top in a disappointing performance by the Hawks yesterday. And Schwarz, who continues to play very, very well, kicked 3 goals again yesterday. He's taken some very good grabs. One against Hawthorn earlier in the year, another one there. So who do you think? Is it Wanganine, Lee, Grant, McDonald or Schwarz? They're the phone numbers on the left. Give us a ring and give us a vote. Terry Wheeler, what a great game.
Oh, a tremendous game of football. Beginning of the game, I don't think too many people gave the Crows much hope at all, and they have proved everyone wrong with a most workmanlike fashion.
Give us your votes, Terry.
Well, Tony McGuinness depicted the evening. I thought he was a consistent worker right throughout and was clearly the best player on the ground for mine, Bruce. But the instigator of it all was Big Sean Wren in the ruck, and his work, particularly in the first half when no one else was there, he was the one to get them going. And Mark Rasciuto across half forward was always a source of supply into the Crows forward line.
What do you think of those, King? Do you think 3-2-1 McGuinness, Wren and Rasciuto down there with Graham Corns?
Yes, we certainly are, Bruce. And it's a very happy coach tonight in the Crows change room. And Graham, you went on record this week as saying that you felt something was emerging this week at training.
Well, I think our training's been very good. I don't think you can question that. I just thought there was glimpses last week against Carlton, and whilst we got hammered, we were beaten by 10 goals, and that's not a particularly impressive scoreline. There were just signs during that game that our commitment and our willingness to make the contest was back, and we really only needed to put it together for 4 quarters to give ourselves a chance. And I mean, it didn't start particularly well for us tonight, but I thought the significant thing was that our effort around the ball and the willingness to support the player who had the ball and to pressure the opponent was as good as it's been for a long, long time. And I suppose the way we were willing to take risks and try and develop our running game again was pleasing also.
Well, from where I sat, and I've been sitting there for quite a long time, the 2 things that stood out from my eyes were the commitment and the team spirit among the players.
Team spirit's been very good, Cuz, and I mean they've been working on it. It gets a hammering every now and again when you're beaten. I mean, there's always reasons why you're beaten, but I just think the boys have stood up particularly well in that regard, and they've had good leaders, and Tony and Chris, and they've maintained a certain morale. And I must say it's been difficult to maintain a morale here in Adelaide over the last couple of weeks, because justifiably so we've been criticised and knocked about a bit for our performances. I suppose the only way to answer that is to perform as we did tonight, but I've been pleased with the way they've maintained their morale.
Graham, who's likely to come back for Friday night?
Well, I suppose Greg Anderson and Tony Hall would be around the mark. Jars maybe. I mean, we thought Jars would play this week without any doubt, and maybe Simon Tregenza, having missed tonight, may be available. I mean, it's a tough call. The guys who played well tonight did very well, and I imagine it's going to be hard to push a couple of those blokes out.
McKinnon was one, wasn't he? And obviously Kluzek, and I thought Pesh did pretty well when he came on.
Yes, again, we've been criticised for some of our draft choices. Now, they're all draft choices, and I thought they, as first-year players, took their opportunity. I mean, Marty McKinnon came in very late. He was taken out of Central District's team yesterday when Simon pulled out, and I was very pleased with his effort. And Matty Kluzak was also great with his goals, and Nicky Pesh is going to be a good player. He just needs to be able to get a chance to have a run on the ball to show that pace and skill.
Well done, Graham. Thank you, Neil Curley. A great win for the Crows tonight. They've got Sydney on Friday night. Let's look at the ladder. On a day where 3 matches were played, West Coast still on top, only on percentage now. Carlton closing. And look at the jam. North Hawthorn, Richmond, Essendon, Collingwood all together on the same number of points. Then Footscray making up the 8. Adelaide have made some ground, and so have Melbourne this weekend. Geelong, Brisbane, and then the ones that are out of the race, Fitzroy, St Kilda, Sydney. Hope you've enjoyed it tonight. It's been footy at its very best.
This has been a 7 Sports production.
Without its captain and star striker Darlin, Sweden should not have been able to produce the rout it did.
Brolin scores for Sweden after 7.5 minutes of the game.
All 4 goals came in the first half, the last 3 in the space of 9 minutes.
Oh, it's a brilliant goal.
Thomas Brolin was the hero for Sweden, scoring the first goal and setting up 2 others.
Oh, it's 4!
Tomorrow morning, the World Cup champion will be decided, and the equally fanatical fans of Italy and Brazil are certain that their side will win.
Oh, Brazil, numero uno, yeah!
The big game will be held in Los Angeles, and today the final rehearsal for what should be a spectacular closing ceremony. But no chance to practice for Roberto Baggio, who watched training from the sidelines.
Dei giocatori come Baggio.
At this time, there's nothing new. If there are any improvements, we will let you know.
$95 would mean a loss. Announced 25-inch televisions will now be imported from a subsidiary in Singapore. Officials say the trend will continue.
There will be forthcoming changes. There will be further shifts of production overseas, and perhaps, yes, the pace will be accelerated as opposed to where it was when the yen was 105 or 110.
Currency rates are even forcing changes in companies with a domestic focus. Kojima Construction is tripling its purchases of raw materials from overseas. The reason is simple. It's cheaper. Wherever the yen-dollar rate eventually settles, corporate Japan is already making its production bets. And especially for mass production, the smart money is moving overseas, quickly. Bill Dorman, CNN Business News, Tokyo.
Oil markets getting a new reason to push crude prices higher. A strike by Nigerian oil workers worsened. Senior workers joining junior workers in their efforts to force the military government to step aside and install millionaire businessman Moshood Abiola as president. The apparent winner of last year's presidential election has been ordered to stay in jail on treason charges. Traders in London bid up Brent crude by more than $1.50 this week. As Todd Benjamin reports, the strike hits a market that is already in short supply.
Traders in London have bid up the price of Brent crude, fearful that oil exports from Nigeria could be disrupted. Nigeria is the world's 10th largest oil producer. It pumps 1.9 million barrels a day, with almost all of it exported. Despite traders' fears, so far the strike has barely disrupted production. But if it carries on, exports could suffer.
Well, if it carried on for a very long time, obviously you could see it more than halved, if not more. The problem at the moment is that the senior oil workers being on strike, there's no one to coordinate the actual exports. If they were still working, then obviously other people could be hired just to do the labourers' work. Even today, we've heard that one ship may be delayed because documentation isn't ready.
The strike began 10 days ago when junior oil workers walked off the job for both economic and political reasons. Senior oil workers joined in just this week. It's unclear how long the strike could last.
But if it carries on for anything more than a few weeks, then we could see oil prices headed higher over the very short term.
What, maybe another 50 cents?
It's possible, another 50 cents, another $1. We just don't know how long it's going to last.
Oil prices are now at their highest level in a year, a far cry from the lows of February when Brent was trading just under $13 a barrel. Even before the strike, oil prices had risen sharply in part because of OPEC's resolve to maintain steady production. Even if the strike ends, prices are expected to remain relatively firm on the back of anticipated demand. Todd Benjamin, CNN Business News, London.
Coming up next on World Business this week, keeping Seat on the road. Volkswagen finally works out a deal with Madrid for cash. After this.